South. You are looking at Hammond Stadium from Fort Myers, Florida. This afternoon, the Minnesota Twins will host the Atlanta Braves for a third time. I am Annie Sabo, and I am happy to report that we are now under 3 weeks until the Twins open up the regular season in Milwaukee against the Brewers on April 1st. Today's opponent, Atlanta, had quite a busy offseason following an NLCS loss in Game 7 to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Their focus, pitching. Josh Tomlin will remain a Brave for a third season. Drew Smyly joins the Braves after recording a 3.42 ERA in San Francisco last year. Charlie Morton headlining the pitching addition, signing a one-year, $15 million deal after helping the Rays to a World Series last season. And Marcell Ozuna hit his way to a four-year, $64 million deal. Michael Pineda, your starter this afternoon. The first pitch between the Twins and the Braves is coming your way next.
Good try, Noah.
We're ultimate.
Well, welcome back to Hammond Stadium. Here's this afternoon's starting lineups for the visiting Atlanta Braves, managed by Brian Snitker. 6 years the manager there, 3 straight National League East titles. Leading off and playing right field will be Phillip Ervin. Batting second, Goodwin at first baseman Freddie Freeman. Marcell Ozuna in left field, he'll bat third. Pablo Sandoval still with the uniform. He's going to bat fourth, and he will DH. Jake Lamb at third base bats fifth. Johan Camargo will be at shortstop, batting second. Or at second base, batting seventh, will be Jason Kipnis. Guillermo Heredia will be in center field. He's going to bat eighth. And batting ninth, catching will be Alex Jackson. Pitching here this afternoon for the Atlanta Braves will be Huascar Ynoa. Here's the starting lineup for your Minnesota Twins. It's Luis Arraez. He'll lead off. He's going to play third base here this afternoon. Andrelton Simmons gets the start at shortstop. DH batting third will be Nelson Cruz. Jorge Polanco, he'll bat fourth, play second base. Miguel Sano at first base. He's going to bat fifth. Catching here this afternoon, batting sixth, it'll be Ryan Jeffers. Kyle Garlick will get the call out in left field, batting seventh. Keon Broxton in center field bats eighth, and Rob Refsnyder will be out in right field. He's going to bat ninth. Pitching here this afternoon, his second outing with the big guy Michael Pineda. Pineda last year 5 starts with 2-0. So he's on the mound here this afternoon. Adam Beck will be calling balls and strikes. That's Brian O'Nora will be at first base. Tim Timmons, the umpire, at second base, and Eric Bacchus will be the umpire at third base. Gorgeous afternoon. A lot of fans, 2,600 of them here this afternoon. We're ready to get this one started. Here's Corey Provis.
Hi, Danny. Thank you very much. Twins and the Braves for the third time so far this spring. And so far, Atlanta's won the first 2. In fact, they have shut out the Twins 11-0 in those first 2 games. It's Ervin, Freeman, Ozuna against Big Mike. Pineda on the mound after throwing in 5 games last year. First pitch, smack to right field. There's a base hit. Line drive, opposite field knock, picked up by Broxton in right center field. So Ervin was claimed off waivers in late February from the Cubs, competing to win an outfield spot, 4th outfield spot, as leadoff single to start the day. And now the reigning MVP, what a great player, Freddie Freeman. Bats here in a scoreless first inning. Freeman had COVID last summer and had a bad bout with COVID-19. And thankfully recovered from that and had an awesome season. MVP last year. Runner goes, and the pitch is high. Throw down to second base, and the Twins confused about covering second base. Late to get over. Simmons and Arraez in the vicinity to cover second base. So Ervin, first pitch swinging as a runner, first pitch running, and he has a stolen base, Danny, as the pitch was high to Freeman.
Yeah, good pitch there for Jeffers to handle, but yes, a little confusion. Simmons getting there. Arraez playing third base, but he was playing on the left side. He tried to get there. So with the shift on, again, communication between the infielders paramount here, and because you know this Atlanta club, they like to run.
Arraez at third today. Twins debut of shortstop Andrelton Simmons. Right now, Irvin's at second base. Nobody out. Ball 1 to Freeman. And the next pitch is high and outside from Pineda. Freeman, a free agent at season's end. A four-time All-Star, Gold Glove winner in 2018. He's hit second in this lineup. He's hit third. Hit 13 homers and drove in 53 last year. With a .341 average, third to LeMahieu and Soto across the game. Pineda behind 2-0, and here's the pitch, and that's taken outside and high, ball 3. Marcell Ozuna's on deck. Pineda had to finish his suspension from 2019, so with that, he just appeared in 5 games, 5 starts, but they were good. Last summer, he went 2-0 with an ERA in the low 3s, struck out 8 batters per 9. He walked only 7 hitters in just over 26 innings. And the 3-0 pitch, and Freeman takes, I guess, high and outside, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk sets up the double play. I'm going to bring up Marcell Ozuna. Had a great year with the Braves last year, and he was a free agent, and took a while, but Ozuna eventually re-upped with Atlanta, Danny, as a free agent, a 4-year deal to play left field.
Boy, he had a great year, too. You talk about Freddie Freeman and the numbers he put up. This guy here right with him, stride for stride, but he just landed in a good place. He probably checked out the free agent market, but all in all, he's back here with a good Atlanta ball club.
Led the National League in home runs, RBIs, plate appearances, total bases last year. Twins do have a shift on. He bats right-handed. 2 on, nobody out. First pitch off speed. There's a strike. 4-seam slider changeup is what Pineda features. The slider usage went up last year from 2019, while his 4-seam and change usage went down a bit. Fastball will be steady, about 91, 92 miles an hour. 2 on, nobody out, no score, first inning. And the 0-1 came inside, pops away from Jeffers, and he doesn't see it, and the runners take off. Now, Jeffers couldn't find it. Maybe got crossed up there, Danny, with Pineda, and the ball was on the dirt right behind where Jeffers is stationed. So it didn't travel too far, but he couldn't see it.
He missed it completely. It hit the umpire. So Jeffers, he didn't even get glove on it, and for some reason he elected to go out to the mound and not retrieve the baseball, and that's what allowed the base runners to advance. So definitely got crossed up there. He's gonna make sure that the umpire's okay. He took it right in the chest.
So second and third, infield will play back and concede a run for an out. It's a 1-1 count to Ozuna. And the pitch, good breaking ball. Strike 2, slider. Now, Pineda was terrific against right-handed hitters last year. Held them to a 184 average and virtually no power. OPS was under 500. Lefties fared better in terms of average and power. So a couple of lefties in Irvin and Freeman. Now the righty in Ozuna. 2 on, nobody out, and the 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Slider buried and blocked on a knee by Jeffers. Now 2-2. You think Pineda, Danny, slots in right now as the number 3 starter to begin the year?
I think so. I think that the way it's shaken out right now, and you could probably flip-flop any one of those 3 guys, and we're talking Maeda and Barrios. They're all frontline guys.
Pablo Sandoval on deck, and the 2-2 pitch, slider low, not chased by Ozuna. So a full count. This is Pineda's second spring start. His last one abbreviated because of rain against the Red Sox back on March 6th. And with 2 innings, scoreless, no hits, and struck out 4. A single, a walk, and a pass ball so far in this first inning. 2 on, nobody out, full count. Jeffers on a knee, sets up, 3-2 pitch, a swing and a miss, strike 3. On a fastball at 93 that dipped a bit down and inside, so Ozuna strikes out. And Pineda gets a big out there. So 1 away, and now the former World Series MVP, the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. 34 years old, non-roster invite. 12 years of service time at the big league level. How about a career postseason batting average of .338? 3-time world champion with the Giants. Sandoval DHing. Third baseman Jake Lamb is on deck. Second and third, one out. And the pitch is just off the outside corner. Fastball at 92, ball one. Well, this guy was a rock star, Danny, with the Giants. When they had that exciting, obviously, championship, team and teams. And he was a big part of it.
Talk about they won 3 World Series championships. Wasn't it every other year?
Yeah, the 2010, 12, and 14.
And they used to, they called him the Panda, and he sold little stuffed panda dolls. The gift shop. They were huge.
Second and third, one out. And the 1-0 pitch, a swing and a miss. Got a fastball by him. Bell tie at 92. Well, Sandoval, you think back to the World Series in 2012. Giants, Tigers. That game 1 matchup. Verlander, Zito. You thought on paper Verlander is going to deal and be tough. And Zito getting up there in years. Not much velocity. Well, Sandoval had a 3-homer game. 2 off Verlander in game 1. I think Zito even had a run-scoring base hit off Verlander in that game. And the 1-1 is high.
I want to say that was a kind of a surprise start for Zito, because he really didn't have a good season that year. But come playoff time, certain guys step up and play. Well, Sandoval, remember, didn't he go from the Giants to the Red Sox?
It's not a lucrative contract with the Red Sox.
And just did not pan out there.
A lot of money on the hook there for Boston. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Line drive right side. Base hit right field. Irvin scores. Freeman will be held by Ron Washington at third base as the throw comes back in. So it's an RBI single for Sandoval. Irvin scores. Freeman to third. 1-0 Atlanta.
Yeah, hanging breaking ball right there. That just kind of stayed up in the zone.
So runners at the corners with 1 out. Braves by 1. Now Jake Lamb signed as a free agent with the Braves in February. With Arizona and Oakland last year, 31 games. Hit only 193. He's had a quiet spring so far, just 1 for 12 with an RBI. Guy's left-handed. Twins have 3 on the right side. So Sandoval at first, Freeman at third, 1 in, 1 out. And the pitch, a weak ground ball, tap foul up the first base line. Exciting news away from Fort Myers, announced by Governor Tim Walz this morning.
I believe opening day for the Twins is the 8th of April. Opening day for Minnesota United is the 15th. So the answer on this is that fans are back in the stadiums. I'm sure now that trying to refresh to get those early vaccines will look a lot like trying to get those Twins tickets right now, but there'll be plenty of games, and there'll be plenty of summer, and there'll be plenty of activities out there. So make sure you're getting yourself ready, getting your family ready, and just, again, the Minnesota summer's on the way.
Swing and a miss, no balls and 2 strikes on a changeup, but that is great to hear from Governor Walz this morning. Danny, the home opener April 8th, and we learned this morning officially that Twins fans will be back at Target Field.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, Corey, if we have an exact number, but we do know for sure that there will be some people at Target Field on opening day.
Yeah, the expectation is to have 10,000. That's the expectation, to have 10,000 for the home opener, and the Twins will have more details on that in the coming days. But certainly we learned officially this morning from Governor Walz that Target Field will have Twins fans in that ballpark on April 8th. 1-0 Atlanta. The 2-strike pitch, and down he goes. Off speed from Pineda, buried that breaking ball. So Lamb strikes out. Second strikeout for Pineda. And there are 2 out. 1-0 Braves. Freeman at third. Sandoval at first. And the batter's going to be Johan Camargo. Camargo can play all over the infield. He's at shortstop today. Plays a good third. Two for 12 so far here in camp. Panamanian born Johan Camargo hit 4 home runs last year as he grounds one to Sano at first, knocks it down on his knees, pops to his feet, takes it to the base for out number 3. But the Braves score a run. They do so on 2 hits. They strand 2. We played 1/2 in Fort Myers. Atlanta 1, Twins nothing. On your home for Twins baseball. Twins fans have come from near and far to see their hometown team here in Fort Myers. Braves have a 1-0 lead. Great day to be in the ballpark, in the seats, on the berm, in the sunshine. Huascar Ynoa might be a familiar name for Twins fans. He's pitching for Atlanta. Ynoa signed as a teenager by the Twins and then was traded to Atlanta in July of 2017 for Jaime Garcia and Anthony Recker. As Luis Arraez takes a strike. Ynoa is just 22 years old, throws hard, mid to upper 90s fastball, good slider. And in the mix to be the Braves' #5 starter to begin the year for the injured Mike Soroka. Arraez swings and misses at 96, elevated, no balls and 2 strikes. Arraez, Simmons, and Cruz to bat against Huascar Ynoa. Arraez 2 for 12, an RBI, 3 walks. He's at third base defensively today. And the 0-2 pitch in the dirt. And that's ball 1. Ynoa wears number 73 from the Dominican Republic. In the Twins organization, he got as high as Elizabethton. Happy League in 2017, then the trade to the Braves that same summer. And the 1-2 pitch smacked to right field near the line. That's a base hit for Arraez. Irvin sprints to his left, cuts it off. Arraez trying for 2. The throw to second base is off line. Good start, leadoff double. Luis Arraez pulling one down the right field line. Head first diving into second base. And the Twins have the tying run, Danny, in scoring position. Now the debut of new Twins shortstop Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, the report on Simmons, he came into camp. He a little bit late, but he was still working out. Plenty of workouts back home, and he's such a professional. Going to fit right in here with this ball club. See how he does here his first at bat. Watched him out there stretching with his new teammates.
Simmons wears number 9. Home white Twins uniform top as right-handed and tracks a fastball strike at 96. Simmons, 31 years old, as good as they get defensively. 4-time Gold Glove winner, broke in with the Braves. He was drafted by Atlanta, 2nd-round pick in 2010. Won 2 Gold Gloves with the Braves, 2 more with the Angels. And now the 0-1 in the dirt. Nicely saved that time by Jackson. Alex Jackson behind the plate. Simmons put the uniform on today and was kicking the baseball around during stretching. Soccer ball off the left field line. Andrelton, 31 years old.
Called hacky sack, or
yeah,
you play that.
I do. In fact, that was a Twins Fest activity I somehow got myself into with Trevor Plouffe. Here's the 1-1 ground ball to the right side. This is off the body of Freeman. Close play at first. He shovels underhand in time to retire Simmons, who lost his helmet up the line for the out. The second hop kind of ate up Freeman, but no panic. He tracked it down behind the bag, and the throw beat Simmons by a stride. Arraez to third, so 1 out, 1-0 Braves. And here's Nelson Cruz.
You talk about Simmons here. Nobody out runner at second base. He is such a fundamentally sound player. Not only you talk about his defense and the Gold Gloves he's won, but things like that right there, and hitting the ball to the right side of the diamond. Knows how to play the game, and now there's Nelson Cruz going to tie it up, hopefully.
Simmons, parts of 8 years of service time, a lifetime .270 hitter. And now Cruz, as he looks at a fastball strike at 96 called, 0-1. Braves infield back. No overshift. They have the second baseman that we have seen over the years. Jason Kipnis playing on the first base side of second, but up the middle as Nelly swings and bounces foul behind the plate. 97, that fastball from Huascar Ynoa.
Yeah, you know, he's showing a good fastball. His delivery, that's a high 3/4. He's almost right over the top. And he's got depth on that fastball. He said 96, 97. Has not been able to throw the breaking ball for a strike yet.
0-2 on Cruz. A homer, 3 knocked in here in camp. Arraez at third, and the pitch is over but low. Did not chase at 90.
Change up.
Huascar Ynoa, 22 years old. Average velocity last year, 95. Relied heavily on his slider. And the 1-2 swing and a miss. Went off speed, and down goes Cruz. So 1-2 slider there, Danny. Righty slider?
Yeah, he had been bouncing him way out in front of home plate prior, and then he finally stays with that pitch. And that ball stayed in on Nelson and just below his bat.
Now scheduled to join us as we move along here today, Royce Lewis is inside the Twins' third base dugout. He's going to put the headset on here next inning, and we'll chat with him. Sadly, his season is over. Tore his ACL, had surgery last week, but Royce has rejoined the team down here. And we'll catch up with the former #1 pick in just a bit. Swing and a miss, Polanco, 3 for 12 at RBI, batting cleanup again today. 1-0 Braves, bottom 1. Arraez at third, 2 outs. Polanco, 4 homers last year. And the pitch is banged foul, slicing out of play, third base side, 0-2. Also scheduled to visit with third base coach, infield coach Tony Diaz as well today. Now, we have been told that when the Twins are out defensively and Tony has the headset on chatting with us, if the Twins commit an error, this is from Rocco Baldelli, that we as a team up here have to do 15 push-ups. And the 0-2 ground ball wide at first, picked cleanly by Freeman. He'll pick it up and beat Polanco to the bag for out number 3. 15 push-ups, please. Give me a challenge. Come on, Rocco. Danny can do 15 push-ups one-handed.
We'll send it down there. Rocco's going to have to do 15.
Yeah, you do 15 too. Bring it. Royce Lewis is going to bring it next as we go to the second. 1-0 Braves on your home for Twins baseball. A Pablo Sandoval first inning RBI single, the only run so far after 1. Braves 1, Twins nothing. Jason Kipnis leads off for Atlanta. Veteran infielder, non-roster invite, now 33 years old, was with his hometown Cubs last year. Had 44 games at 3 home runs. Kipnis, a 2-time All-Star. As Pineda goes off speed, slider strike. It's a 1-1 count. Corey and Danny up here in the booth. Let's head down inside the third base dugout as promised. Always great to chat with our buddy Royce Lewis, who has the headset on here in the second. And the 1-1 line into right towards the alley to his right, and Refsnyder plays that on a bounce. It bounces away. Kipnis trying for 2 and now stops off first. Simmons throws to the first base bag. It's dropped by Sano, and Kipnis is back in. Kipnis was going to be out by plenty. Refsnyder bobbled it initially, but then got it into Simmons, and Kipnis saw that, put on the brakes halfway between first and second base. And then Simmons threw a bit high, but certainly catchable for Sano, who did have to jump. But Sano catches that cleanly, and Kipnis would have been out number 1. Instead, he's on as we begin the second, and that'll bring up Guillermo Heredia. But here is Royce Lewis. Royce, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm doing good, guys. How are you guys doing?
It's great to see you. Welcome back down here. First, mentally, how you doing, and I guess physically as well?
Yeah, mentally doing great, honestly, and physically doing really, really good as well. I think just being around the guys and being out here. Today's my first game, being able to watch Andrelton, and the rest of the guys. It's really, really fun.
So when we first heard the news about the ACL, the initial report was that you slipped on ice during that winter storm in Texas, but that wasn't the case?
Well, so it kind of, but not really. The main thing was I did 5-10-5s, which is mainly actually a football drill that they use for the combine, and I slipped doing that real hard, and that's when I really initially think I did that. I still can't believe I did that. I'm in shock because I felt so fine. Swelling went down immediately. Everything was great, but yeah, I did actually lose my footing on ice. I did not completely fall on the night before we left to come here, and so my swelling was up, and that's when they caught it.
So when you came down here, was it just your routine physical when you got down here, and that's when you got with the training staff and pointed to the area of discomfort?
That's right. Actually, they were just testing my knees, and I didn't tell them even that it was discomfort because I felt fine. I really did. I ran and did some sprints the day before, so I double check, and I totally felt fine. I ran almost like 2 miles, but I guess guess they told me running straight should be fine, so which is why I still didn't notice. But it's pretty insane, to be honest with you.
Heredia singles to right. Kipnis down to second. 2 on, nobody out. Pineda 24 pitches, and now Alex Jackson. That's right-handed. Catcher trying to be the backup to Travis d'Arnaud. The Braves on top 1-0. When you first heard that it's torn and you're going to be out for the year, was that hard to stomach?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just because I knew ACLs, those are long-term processes here, and I totally thought it was just going to be a bone bruise, maybe hyperextension max. Like, hey, Royce, you're going to be out 2 to 4 weeks. I would have been totally happy with that, but I really didn't think it was even that, to be honest. So to get the news that you're going to be out for a whole year, it's devastating, and first immediate thought was, what are my parents going to think? Because I've been telling them I feel great. But no, for real, I think it's just, it sucks, but it's something that it is what it is. It happened. How are we going to get through it? How are we going to get better?
The 1-1 pitch is ripped to left, foul deep down the line, and it's a 1-2 count now on Jackson. Give us the timeline now that you had the surgery. Are you going to be down here the entire time in rehab, and what comes next?
Yeah, so I'll be here the whole time, for about 6 to 7 months here, hopefully through September, and then we'll go from there. But at the moment, that's the current plan, and everything's going so smoothly and moving pretty fast, which is great.
1-0 Atlanta. Braves batting in the second. 2 on, nobody out. Kipnis, the lead runner at second base. Heredia's at first. Alex Jackson 0 for 6 here in the Grapefruit League. Waits, and the 2-strike pitch. A check swing. Looked like he went. Did not, though, on a spike slider. Twins dugout not happy. Royce Lewis not happy.
Royce, you wouldn't want him to call you up on that one, would you?
No, not me, but he can get Alex. I know Alex pretty well. He's a good kid, man.
Hey, Danny Gladden here. Let me ask you, when you have an injury like that, a lot of times players will reach out to maybe some other players that have had a similar injury and ask them what they went through to get back. Were you able to do that and reach out to maybe any other people that have had that type of surgery?
I did. I've had really good guys reaching back to me as well. Kyle Lewis was one of the guys I reached out to personally. He had similar injury, and he was out for quite a while, but obviously, as you guys know, Rookie of the Year, came back even stronger than he was before. So just talking to him through those pros and cons, what would you have done differently? How long did the process take? When did you start feeling good? When did you start walking, running, etc.? And he really broke it down for me and gave me a really good guideline to how I should be feeling and when things should start progressing.
Full count on Jackson. Kipnis at second. Heredia's at first. Nobody out. 1-0 Braves. Runner stay. 3-2 and swing and a miss, and down he goes. Off speed from Big Mike. And that's his third strikeout. So Jackson is the first out. And the batter will be Phillip Ervin. Now, you moved from California to Texas a couple of years ago, and I know Torrey Hunter played a big part in you making that decision.
That's right.
How much have you leaned on his counsel during this tough time?
A lot. It's just family and friends, anyone close to you, man. It's just everything positive. That's the goal, and the key is just having positivity around you. And I think with the Twins organization, the coaching staff here, I got Tony Diaz sending me quotes every day. I love that man. And just, a lot of people, just players as well. I got Trevor Larnach, Kirilloff, Kepler, Sano. All these guys are so positive, man, just to be around and see them as they walk through the training room to get to where they need to be. Just saying, hey, hope you get better soon. Hey, you're looking good today, man. It just all it takes is the little things, and people don't realize that. But being around these guys just makes me feel so happy, and like baseball's back again, So it's truly amazing. I'm glad to be with the Twins, man.
Ball one outside to Ervin. 2 on, 1 out. First and second, 1-0 Braves. Righty to righty. Pineda facing Ervin. From the belt, and here's the pitch. Fastball, bullseye strike at 91.
Right. Watched it today coming off the field here. You had your crutches on, uniform on. I think you were with maybe one of the trainers. Have you started an actual therapy right now, or are you still kind of in a holding pattern?
Yeah, I started therapy 3 days out of surgery, man. So it's been 2 weeks now. We're on the 2-week mark as of today since surgery, and I got to ride the bike today. So I'm really excited, man. Everything's going real smooth. Same pitch.
Over, but look. It's called ball 2. Now, can you say that if you were in the batter's box?
If I was in the batter's box,
Yeah.
I'd tell him it was the same pitch. It should have been a ball. It should have been 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah, let me ask you, do you have much dialogue with the either the catcher or the umpire in your playing days?
Yeah, not too much. I really try to keep it, nice and professional up there. I know it's, it's a tough job. The umpiring is really tough, and people don't give them enough credit. But, none of them are really good, in my opinion. So it's one of those things where they're always going to be wrong. But no, I think they do a great job, and you can't argue with how they work. And it's a tough job back there. So I never really give them too much. I just usually ask, is that the corner? Is that all you got? So.
Pitch is low, ball 3 on a spike slider. Freddie Freeman on deck. Kipnis at second. Herradius at first. 1-0 Braves. Chatting with Royce Lewis inside the Twins dugout on this beautiful day here in Fort Myers. Big pitch for Pineda, and the 3-1 ground ball chop just foul past third. Dean.
Royce, baseball back, and you can see the fans. It's a different vibe than I think what happened last year. Your thoughts, and how was it for you over at the off-site last year?
Man, fans being back is truly amazing. It just makes baseball seem real again. Last year was a little tough for everyone. I think not only playing-wise, but mentally, it just wasn't the same. But for me at the alternate site, man, I had a great time. I took that as an opportunity to grow and continue to better my game. I really, truly feel like I did that, and that's why it makes this injury even more tougher than it is. It's just tough to swallow the fact that you're missing a whole year of development and the chance to show and prove that my game got better significantly.
3-2 count on Irvin. Pineda 35 pitches and now steps off. Irvin, a first-round pick by the Reds in 2013. Pineda has a sign from Jeffers, who drops to a knee, sets up down and away, and the 3-2 pitch is swinging a fly ball foul as that ball travels out of play. At any point last summer, Royce, at the alternate site, when you saw the likes of Blankenhorn and Jeffers and Kirilloff, when they got that call that they were coming over, at any point did you think, I'm going to get my turn, that my turn is going to happen here at some point this summer?
No, personally, I did not. I thought the team was great. Polanco's a great shortstop in himself, and Arias, that duo up the middle was really good last year. And, I never pressed thinking about that. I always know in the back of my head that, you got to have that mindset of I'm a big leaguer, I'm going to be a big leaguer someday, and that's just how you continue to grow and get better. And for me, like I said, I just continued to grow my game out there in the summer camp, and I knew one of these days my time will come, hopefully, and, if God willing, everything goes great and continue to stay healthy. And then, like I said, now this injury, so it's definitely tougher to swallow, but, all positive. I'm still young. I'm very excited for the team to continue to get better, and I'm just blessed to be able to watch Andrelton Simmons right now short. Just watching his pre-step routine. People don't realize how much I really watch the game of baseball. From a young age, man. My dad and mom would tell me all the time I'd just be watching and just loving it.
Again, the 3-2 is strike 3 called. A little delayed from Adam Beck behind the plate. Irvin thought that was going to be inside, but it caught the corner, and Irvin strikes out looking. So Pineda went off speed and got the call. Jeffers, and you break down his framing, and last year Jeffers was among the best catchers in the game in saving strikes and recording strikes on the corners. And that one was inside, but he just kind of brought it back a bit. And Irvin struck out looking for the second out, so 2 down, and now Freeman. You like watching this guy play, Royce?
Yeah, I like watching all these good players play, man. It's just to learn and see how they go about their game with their approach. He has a great approach up at the plate. Congrats to him on the MVP last year, but, man, what a year.
So now 2 out. Good matchup, Pineda-Freeman. And the first pitch, a swing and a foul back, sitting off speed there, 86, and peeled it foul.
A little frustrating 2019 coming out of the Arizona Fall League MVP. Acuna won it a couple years before that. Winning MVP, did you enjoy yourself, obviously, in the Fall League? Still kind of a development league for you?
Yeah, no doubt. Anytime you can get into game action, just continue to better yourself. You're always learning something. And for me, man, I had a great time out there. I had a blast. I think it was the best time I had in pro ball so far, just getting to know some of the players you're playing against and some of your teammates with you. Having a great time just learning from other coaching staffs and other organizations. Just continuing to grow yourself and better your game. And I really got got a chance to meet Tim Doherty, who used to be with the Twins actually at one point as a hitting coach, and he's now a hitting coach with the Rockies big league team. And man, we still talk to this day. Little conversations here or there, but he really got my mind right out there, and we dialed it in. We had a good time.
The balls and 2 strikes on Freeman. 2 on, 2 out. 1-0 Braves. Pitch number 41 is on the way. Slider buried and blocked by Jeffers. Ball 1. And in that Arizona Fall League run, Royce, in 2019, you were playing some center field that Fall League, right?
That's right. I played about 8 to 12 games-ish. I got a few plays, man. I like to dazzle it out there a little bit, just show my athleticism. So, you know, whenever I play, I love defense. I think defense is a big part of our game, and it's starting to go away with these shifts, in my opinion. But you don't show off all your range that you really have, and that's why I kind of like players like Tatis showing off their range and being able to prove that the game's still athletic.
Freeman sends one foul down the left field line that ricochets off the canopy above the Twins bullpen.
You know, he's talking a little bit about the shift, and we also up here, Royce, watch it, that the premium a few years back used to be shortstop had to be able to range to his left, go in the hole. Now with 3 on the left side of the diamond, maybe you don't need that as much. Would you agree with that?
No doubt. I mean, you're already standing in the place that they want you to play, so the ball's usually going to be hitting those zones. I mean, the analytics are definitely helpful, and they're factual, you know. It's not like it's a lie and they're just saying, hey, stand here because we think it's going to work. It definitely works, but it does take away that athleticism for me at least. And unless they hit it in a place that the analytics don't say, you're not going to be able to show it off.
1-2 slider checked and not swung at by Freeman. 2-2 count. Good take there from a veteran. And we'll talk about the announcement yesterday. Major League Baseball in the minor leagues is going to try out some new rules at the various levels. And that certainly is a hot topic of discussion we'll get to as we move along. 1-0 Braves in the second. 2 on, 2 out, and now time called. I want to get back to something you said about Simmons, and you watch his pre-pitch routine. He's kind of watching his footwork.
Mm-hmm.
First, let's wait for the 2-2 from Pineda to Freeman. Twins have 3 on the right side, and the pitch, a line drive towards right field. That's caught by Polanco. So with a shift on that time, Polanco playing about 20 feet into right field there to make the catch and save a run.
That's right. It works.
It worked right there. We'll continue chatting with Royce Lewis when we come back. 1-0 Braves, bottom 2 on your home for Twins baseball. 1-0 Atlanta, bottom 2. Corey and Danny upstairs. And Royce Lewis kind enough to stick around from the Twins third base dugout. Sano, Jeffers, and Garlick to bat against Huascar Ynoa, one-time Twins minor leaguer. Miguel 2 for 14 here in camp as he tracks a fastball down and outside, ball 1. But Royce, I was asking you to maybe elaborate on that point you referenced in terms of what you're watching and looking at with Simmons pre-pitch defensively. Elaborate on that if you can.
Yeah, you know, he's just such an amazing shortstop. I mean, it's proven he's been one of the top guys in our league, probably in history at the end of his career here. But no, like I said, just watching him before the pitch is thrown, he sees the pitch, what pitch is called, and based on that, is he moving left a step? Even though we're already in our shifted position, is he moving left because it's an off-speed, so left-handed hitter, he might have moved over a little bit for Freddie. If a right-handed hitter's up and he's in our right-handed 2 positioning, which is almost like a more regular shortstop, is he moving to the right a little bit on an off-speed pitch for a right-handed hitter like Ozuna, maybe a change-up next inning when he comes up? Is he going to move over? Little things like that, because his anticipation is kind of what is key in getting those big plays.
3 balls and no strikes to Miguel. Green light here. Nope. He tracks a fastball strike. Take it at 95. In terms of Jorge Polanco going from shortstop to second, yes, he's played some second base, but imagine that was you. Mm-hmm. What would be the biggest challenge and challenges moving from short to second?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge would be, you know, just moving on the other side of the field. Your eyesight, your vision, and knowing that you have a lot more time to throw it first. It's definitely a little bit different.
Sano grounds out to short. 2-hopper played by Camargo. So 1 away, and that'll bring up Ryan Jeffers.
Big bodies, man.
And Jeffers is just that. 26 games last year. 3 homers, 7 knocked in. Guy you've played with before.
That's right.
Speaking of former teammates, as Jeffers takes high. So Alex Kirilloff joined us yesterday. and hit the home run off Rodriguez. Great swing. You saw that
Amazing.
all the time.
Truly.
But as you hear from him and listen to him speak, he's very quiet. He's very monotone. And I'm wondering, and the 1-0 pitch to Jeffers is a bell-tie strike taken, if you see him explode behind the scenes, like if he has that 0 for 12 with 6 punch-outs, if you've seen him scream and take his bat to the bench or to the Gatorade cooler, have you seen Kirilloff do that before?
Nope. I don't think you'll ever see it either. He's just that kind of a guy, man. We were actually talking about watching his interview yesterday. We were talking about how monotone and it's just so cool, calm, and collected, man. That's just him. He's just a truly special guy, man, and we love having fun with him, man. He's the best. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ryan Jeffers. 1-0 Braves here in the second inning. And the pitch, a check swing. It did not matter. Strike 3 on a breaking ball. And Jeffers asking Adam Beck about that pitch. Twins dugout asking the same thing. So the strikeout for Ynoa, 2 out. Well, the Twins are planning for the safe return of fans to Target Field, and there is a season ticket plan for every schedule. Flex plan, 20/40, full season plan, you name it. Season ticket holders get priority access. For more information, text Twins to 20123. Website twinsbaseball.com/season tickets. And Royce, maybe you heard this news. Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota announcing this morning that fans will be allowed at Target Field come April 8th for the home opener, and likely will begin with 10,000. That's awesome.
To start the season.
It's awesome. It's good to hear.
The 0-1 swing and a miss by the bat of Garlick. No balls and 2 strikes. 1-0 Braves. Garlick on the roster, claimed off waivers, was with the Phillies last year at 12 games. And the 0-2 is high. Garlick, in his minor league career, good numbers against left-handed pitching, facing a righty now in Ynoa.
Hang him a slider.
See it here. 1-2 count.
Were you with the Twins when Ynoa was the Twins organization as well?
I was.
Swing and a miss. Ball pops away behind the plate. Picked up by Jackson from the grass. He throws up the line. And that is out number 3. Hey, Royce, great to see you again. Glad you're smiling behind that mask. And welcome back down here. And all the best in the coming weeks and months.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your time.
Royce Lewis, same to you, my friend. Same to you. After 2, 1-0 Braves on your home for Twins baseball. Twins and Braves set to play 8 innings today. We have played 2. Atlanta 1, Twins nothing. This portion of Twins baseball is brought to you by your select Heartland Chevy dealers. Log on to ChevyDealOnline.com to find a dealer near you. Pineda, Ozuna for the 3rd. And here's Dan Glad.
Well, thank you, Corey. Good afternoon, everybody. Here's the first pitch outside. Ball 1, Ozuna. He struck out swinging his first time up. .338 last year. That was 3rd best National League. And fouled back right below us.
Blue Darter.
Yeah. I want to see when I get up here, rattle around. You know, I still have not brought my glove in yet.
Well, a couple years ago, I got pre-plexiglass that separates us now. I got a hip check into the window.
Yes. And bruised. You got a bruise.
Time.
A check swing. You can say he went around on it. So Ozuna tried to hold up on a slider. That's part of playing this game, you know. Broadcasting isn't just come up here and
I showed up the next day. It was fine.
Yeah, you went to HR first.
I did.
Yep. Filed a grievance.
Training room.
A roughhouse. They had 1-2 and laid off that breaking ball and evens it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sandoval due up next. Ozuna was a big part of the offense of this Atlanta Braves ball club last year. Their pitching kind of middle of the pack. Relievers were second best. The starters had the worst ERA, but the hitting, they're top of the line there. Everything. Strike 3 on the outside corner. And Ozuna standing at home plate right now. He can't believe it. Young umpire in Adam Beck. But that'll be strikeout number 5 for Michael Pineda. Boy, that's a good 4 or 5 inches off the plate, but you watch Jeffers, he catches it and sweeps it back over on the outside corner. And here's Sandoval, RBI single his first time up. And missed outside on a fastball. Pineda velocity 92, 93, right where it should be, but just missing just a little bit. And right back, and a off-speed pitch, 86, and fouls it off down the left field line. So 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 run, 4 hits for Atlanta. No runs, just 1 hit for the Twins. No error on the board. And here's the 1-1, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Some people that Jason Kipnis base hit in the 2nd inning, rounded first. Throw back to first, might have had him if Sano didn't drop it. And there's a high strike call. And again, well, the Atlanta Braves not happy with the calls. So Sandoval last year, San Francisco and Atlanta. 34 ball games combined. And fouled off. You know, by throwing that pitch off the plate a little bit and getting the call, and you've got control like Pineda, you just stay out there, and with 2 strikes, the hitter has to protect on it. And sometimes they might even expand a little bit. And it looked like Sandoval just trying to fight that one off. 2-2 on the way. He got the plate below. And now 3 balls and 2 strikes. 55 pitches for Michael with 1 out here in the top half of the 3rd inning. The left-hander warming for Minnesota right now. Lewis Thorpe scheduled. And a pitch. Ground ball right side. That's going to sneak through for a base hit. So Sandoval, 2 hits.
Well, again, no DH in the National League this year after it was a universal site in 2020. There was discussion if that would come back, and that negotiation went on for a while and carried into, February, it seemed like. But MLB said, nope, it was a 1-year thing for now, but the CBA is up at season's end. And I would be almost shocked, Danny, come 2022 if the DH is not in both leagues in the next CBA.
I think, everybody agrees that it is a bargaining chip. And I'm not sure if it's for the union or for the owners, but it's definitely on the table and talked about. Here's Lamb to bat, and he fouls this one back. Struck out swinging his first time up. Do you prefer the DH in the National League, or do you still like to see pitchers in the somewhat of the strategy and the bunting part of it?
But I grew up loving National League style play, but over the years the strategy is fine and all that, but pitchers are just terrible hitters. I mean, yes, you're going to have your few here and there, but I don't get too excited about a collective pitching batting average about 110. It's just not pretty to watch, and it's not something that they work on too much. They take BP, but the emphasis is more on their pitching. So I just think that it's almost like a wasted at bat more times than not, because they're going to strike out.
If you don't take pride in it, and if you're not somewhat athletic, no, they don't work at hitting at all. You don't see the pitchers in the cage working on some stuff unless you're a good player. A little tapper, that's going to roll foul down the 3rd baseline. Bumgarner with the Arizona Diamondbacks, probably one of the better hitters around. Isn't Greinke also
Zach Greinke enjoys hitting? And there are, of course, there are plenty. And
But the rule, or the thought is that the pitchers are going to get hurt if they go in and take batting practice in a cage or extra BP on the field. And we see it when we play interleague play. We go to a National League town, we would see the pitchers come out early. They have fun doing it. But again, it's you kind of cross your fingers that nobody gets hurt. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and a check swing. He went around on it. Yes, he did. A little slider, and he's going to head back. Double strikeouts for him. Strikeout number 5 for Michael. And that's going to be it. It does look like Rocco is going to jog out. And he has signaled to the bullpen. So that's going to be it for Michael Pineda. He'll step out. We'll be back. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Data here, 3 2/3. Gave up 5 hits. So far, just 1 run. He had 5 strikeouts. Traffic on him, give way to the left-hander, Andrew Vasquez. Kind of a sidearm slinger. He will drop down a little bit more. Number 95. He's on that non-roster depth players chart. And he'll come on. Good breaking ball. In the past, he's had trouble walking batters.
It's our first look. My first look at Vasquez here in camp. But yeah, you referenced he's had a couple of looks with the Twins a couple of years ago. And looking at him right now, he's in much better shape. He has lost a considerable amount of weight. But yeah, he's not going to blow you away big velocity, but he's a part of depth camp because his breaking ball is still an effective pitch.
Yeah, you talk about losing some weight. I think the hair color might be changed as well. That's going through the clubhouse there. So Camargo bats. Camargo grounded out his only at bat. Runner at first, 2 down. And a first pitch slider down and in. Atlanta up 1-0. They come in with a Grapefruit League record of 5-5. Last year they won 35 ball games, lost 25. And a pitch, and that one's down and in. 2 balls and no strikes. So 2 in the dirt. Pause 10 seconds. Allow our stations to identify themselves. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Pitch is in the dirt. So Vasquez has thrown 3 pitches, and they've had to discard every one of those baseballs. Camargo now with a 3-ball no strike count. 21 games last year for Camargo at second base. He had 10 games at third base, and that ball's crushed into left field. Garlick back to the track, and that one's gone. A 3-0 fastball. Camargo had 4 homers last year in 35 ball games. So falling behind 3-0 to these big league hitters.
Yeah, sitting 3-0 fastball, and he knew it. Long way out of here to left center field. And the Braves capitalize and now have a 2-run inning and a 3-0 lead.
And Kipnis bats, left-handed hitter, and he takes it in there for a strike. Kipnis, always have liked him with Cleveland, and was with the Cubs last year. Check swing on a slider and then missed way outside, and now 1 ball, 1 strike.
Vasquez, he dropped that arm slot on that breaking ball, missed outside.
He'll try to get a little bit more on that breaking ball, and he drops down again there, and Kipnis tries to hold up on a ball in the dirt and goes around. And now 1-2. Sandoval scoring. That's going to be a run charge to Michael Pineda. Gave up 5 hits, 2 runs. And a ball in the dirt. Michael had 1 walk. That was to Freddie Freeman back in the first inning. An impressive 5 strikeouts. Vasquez trying to get the 3rd out. And a pitch. So Tapper down the first baseline, foul. Kipnis 44 games last year with the Cubs. Offensive numbers just plummeted. He only hit 3 home runs, drove in 16 in camp. With the Atlanta Braves, he's a non-roster. Now 2 for 12 in camp. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a pitch outside. Three balls, 2 strikes, and out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. That one's pulled fair down the right field line past a diving Sano. As Kipnis, 2-out double. Good effort there by Sano. Just couldn't come up with it. So Kipnis 2-hit day. Heredia will bat. Heredia, good outfielder. He's played with Pittsburgh, New York. Much of an offensive player, great defensive player. Getting the start in center field today. And a pitch inside.
Yeah, Heredia trying to make this Braves team as an extra outfielder with Ozuna stationed in left and Christian Pache in center. The great Ronald Acuna Jr. in right. Heredia with also Ender Inciarte, excuse me. Can win a spot on this team.
And a 1-0 outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, you look at what they did last year, and they've won that National League East title 3 straight years, and they've got most of their core players still back, and they're going to be a tough team. They've got a real good offense. There's a breaking ball in there for a strike.
And strong starting pitching, too. They added Charlie Morton this offseason, also Bruce Smiley. But, Mike Soroka, he'll be back early, coming back from an Achilles injury.
And you talk about the core players that they have, and then you've got to also look at their minor league system, which they say is one of the better minor league systems. Outside corner on a little breaking ball, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes. But Atlanta 35-25, and their home record 19-11 at home. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and swung on and missed. So Vasquez strikes out Heredia. They do some damage, pick up a couple of runs. They strand 1 through 2.5 new score. It's the Braves 3, Twins nothing. You're listening to Twins Baseball.
Charlotte Saturday to play the Tampa Bay Rays, so tune in to Fox Sports North for first pitch tomorrow afternoon.
Hey, practice your Sanibel stoop while looking for unique seashells on the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. Learn more and to plan your safe trip, go to FortMyersSanibel.com. Twins trail 3-0, 7 hits for Atlanta. Just 1 hit for the Twins. That was a double by Rise. Noah's still out there, right-hander. He's got 3 strikeouts. He hasn't walked anybody. Broxton takes the first pitch outside. And right back. Now 1 low and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Broxton in camp, non-roster. He's shown some power. Homer, 3 RBIs. This is his 10th game. Noah delivers, and that one missed. We'll follow behind, 3 balls and no strikes. And a 3-0 pitch. That's taken right down Broadway. Some familiar names and faces on this coaching staff for Atlanta. There's a pitch outside, and he takes the walk. Well, just kind of nitpicking a little bit right there. The Twins need base runners. Here's Ruff Snyder, but Ron Washington, former Twin, former manager of the Texas Rangers, longtime Oakland A's coach. He's on this staff as the third base coach. Eric Young Sr., he's on that staff as well. Broxton gets a good lead, and this one's fouled off right side. Kevin Seitzer looking down there. Kevin Seitzer is the hitting coach. So he's landed in a good place with a lot of talent. Refsnyder, his 6th game, he's 2 for 6. Couple of ribbies. Starting in right field today. Quick throw over as Broxton has to dive back. Ron Washington was on that 87 Twins team. And so was Ron Gardenhire as the utility players. Al Newman ended up winning that utility job. Broxton, good lead, not running. And a pitch missed Willow and away. And Gardy went down to AAA and said, I remember him telling me, I had one of my best years ever at AAA. But Al Newman came away as that utility player. 1 ball, 1 strike, runner at first, nobody out. And a slider missed outside.
He did make the trip, but also Hall of Famer Chipper Jones. He's a part of the Braves coaching staff now.
He said he's going to be doing it at home. He'll just be the hitting coach while at home. They've got that new ballpark. Well, the Atlanta Braves own a record I don't think that any sport will ever break, and that is 14 championships in a row. There you go, Corey. Dang it. To our left a little bit.
In the Braves broadcast booth.
Did it make it in there?
No.
Oh, I didn't. I thought I heard it hit out in front.
Hit off the facing.
See, that's the blue darter I want rattling right around here. I'll make an effort for you.
I will not. That's one that I'll just pass.
It's the only way it's going to get through this window.
Polite pass.
They might have had him picked off. He was leaning the other way, and the throw over to first base. Broxton just gets back. Oh, he was flinching like he was going to run to second base. Took that half step and then had to, hustle back. Runner goes, pitch, throw down to second, and Broxton's going to be out at second base. That's twice now in a row he's been thrown out trying to steal, but if you're a catcher, that's the pitch you want to be able to try to throw him out with, and that is a fastball middle away, and a good throw to nail Broxton. So 1 out. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and he walked him. That's why you don't run 2-2. Hey, not-for-profit organizations can raise funds for your group just by attending the Twins ball game as the team plans for the safe return of fans to the ballpark. Contact the Twins to learn how organizations have used a Target Field group event to raise money for their 501c3 organizations. It's easy, and also it's fun. Just text Twins to 20123 for more information. Fans of the ballpark, I believe we're going to have President Dave St. Peter on here shortly, and he can talk about the announcement here today in the Twin Cities by the governor that there will be fans in opening day. There's a Rise bats and a swing and a miss, healthy cut. Rise, you only hit so far for the Twins. That was a leadoff double. He's leading off, playing third base today. Noah, he's at 39 pitches, battling for that 5th spot in the rotation for Atlanta. Good fastball up and away. That one 97. Noah's still just a young kid, but good mechanics right over the top. Lean body and a pitch. Swung and missed. Well, here it is. Come get it. Ref Snyder at first base. Twins trail 3-0. A lot happening around Major League Baseball today, and in particular back in the Twin Cities. And fouled back. Came to the ballpark. Major League Baseball announcing some changes pertaining to baseball. We'll probably get to those a little bit later in our broadcast, but going to try some things out. Especially, I think it's in different levels, A ball, and a couple changes at AA level, and pertaining to maybe the size of the bases.
At AAA.
Going to increase that. They're going to move the clock down to 15 seconds in between pitches. And a swing and a miss. That was a slider that stayed up. And our eyes heads back to the dugout. There's out number 2. Strikeout number 4. But they're also, there's so many wild different things. It's a, I had Kyle printed out. There's like 5 pages on it, and bigger bases. You can only throw over to pick off somebody off first base just twice. And Simmons is buckled on a curveball, strike 1. And in order to throw over, you have to step off the rubber and then throw over there. And can only do that twice. Infielders have to have cleats on the dirt. Can't go out on the grass. And a pitch here, curveball. Going to be fielded by Kipnis at second. Routine there, retires Simmons with a ground out. Twins strand 1 through 3. It's 3-0 Atlanta. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Left-hander Lewis Thorpe will come on. His 3rd appearance, Grapefruit League action. Thorpe's logged 3 innings, has not given up a hit. Walked 1, 5 strikeouts. He has looked sharp. As Thorpe going to win a spot on this ball club. Could be a guy with some length out of the bullpen, spot starter. Still, Twins haven't decided that there's some clubs out there going to have a 6-man rotation. And the Twins are talking quietly about that. And the first pitch, fastball that's in there for a strike, 91 from Thorpe. Now it's Jackson bats. 1st-round draft pick Jackson was with the Seattle Mariners back in 2014. And Thorpe right back, curve in the dirt. Kicks away, 1 ball, 1 strike. With Thorpe, you look at how he's moved up the ranks of the Twins. Signed as a very young kid out of Australia. And a swing and a miss. 92 with a little movement. And now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sorry, Danny, that was not there last year. He was 88, 89, and just said openly earlier this spring he just got lazy and some bad habits, was not in the weight room.
The pitch, ground ball is shortstop. Simmons gets a chance to field it across the diamond to retire the number 9 hitter Jackson.
A whole new mindset, mentally, physically, for Thorpe entering 2021, and he has looked great.
I think you come to a point in your career, and he's on the cusp. I mean, he's got the talent, the size. I think he's got some mound presence. He just has to take it upon himself to, like what you just said, Corey, and that is there's extra work that you need to do pre and post, and that is, you do the work in between your appearances, and also you do some work after. And there's a breaking ball. Stays in the dirt, number leadoff hitter Phillip Ervin. He's singled and struck out looking.
You only get so many opportunities, and Thorpe has had not many, but he's had some.
And fisted foul.
And as he made the most of his
nice play by the police officer. Nice job. One-handed, bare hand.
Going up the stairwell, going to flip it.
Nice job.
And fan, well done.
He'll be...
See that? We missed that, right? You
didn't see that.
Sight, that sound.
Now, if he would have clanged it would have been a different story. And again, fouled off left side. And he clanged it.
But even fans booing other fans for dropping foul balls, you missed that too.
Officer will be out directing traffic,
and
probably after the...
get mad at them because they're not moving that traffic line, that lane.
That would be you.
No.
I heard you come in today.
Take my time, Danny. Nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go in a hurry.
That's right. Got people.
Count of 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. And this pitch missed high. And now 3 balls and 2 strikes. You know, you get back to Thorpe there that you talk about, you get the opportunities. I've always said, you're going to get an opportunity. You better be ready for it. And it's what you do when you do get that opportunity. And a 3-2 pitch. And he walked him. So Thorpe, 1 out walk. And here's Freddie Freeman.
Braves have had base runners on every inning.
And what is it now that you said they started the game that they've gone, 11 innings and haven't scored?
The Braves right now through 2+ spring training games have outscored the Twins 14-0.
Here's Freeman to bat. And a swing and a miss. He walked and lined out his last time up. Polanco playing on the grass right now with 1 out. The double play is in order, so the defense, they are not going to play deep on the grass. And Freeman buckles on that. Good job there by Thorpe.
Braves and Mets should be entertaining to watch in the NL East this year, those 19 games.
I think the division altogether, I think the
Marlins were a good team last year, surprised many, made the playoffs.
Good pitching. Lifted in the air, center field. Broxton back, plenty of room. And he'll put that one away. And there's out number 2 with a runner at first base. We are now joined by Dave St. Peter back in the studios back at Target Field. Congratulations. There's some excitement, a buzz in the Twin Cities right now.
Hey, Danny and Corey, it's good to be with you. Yeah, it's a great day for our fans, everybody across Twins territory. We really are grateful for Governor Walz and the Department of Health, City of Minneapolis, for putting us in a position where we can return up to 10,000 fans to Target Field on April 8th when we host Seattle for our home opener. It's a big day, long time coming, and we're all going to be rooted in health and safety, but we're also going to get a chance to have some fun and watch the Twins play, which is a big step in the right direction.
Dave, was there any wiggle room on the why the 10,000 and maybe not a little bit more?
Well, it's a formula. You know, the governor's office and the Department of Health, I think, have spent a lot of time, and they don't only need to solve for Target Field, but they have to solve for other outdoor venues, whether it be Allianz Field or CHS Field or other venues across the state, as well as indoor venues such as the Exo Energy Center or Target Center. And, you know, that formula caps out at 10,000 for a venue that has the square footage and the number of seats as Target Field. And we're fine with that. We had asked for about 10,000, Dan. We think that's the right number to start out with in a socially distanced way. And we know we can do that in a very safe way at this point in time, which I think is important for fans to understand. We would not be doing this if we didn't know we could do it safely.
2 balls and 1 strike with 2 down here as Ozuna bats. Now does the work begin, Dave? I mean, obviously now you're making phone calls.
Well, we've been working at this for almost a year, Dan. You know, all the local pro sports teams have been collaborating. We had a safe venue task force. We've studied what happened with baseball last year with the World Series. Obviously, during the fall with football and the Super Bowl, even with what the St. Paul Saints did at CHS Field last summer with the truncated minor league season. So we think we're ready. We have a very detailed readiness plan, and we'll be ready to roll here with the health and safety protocols. And getting people back to the ballpark starting April 8th.
So, Dave, I'm sure fans elated with the news as well, and now fans wondering 10,000. So in terms of ticket access, as the pitch is down and inside to Ozuna, so a full count, because that's certainly a question in everybody's mind right now. How will ticket access work?
Well, we're going to start with our season ticket holders, Corey, and they've been patient. They've invested in the Twins. They've been our greatest supporters. They're going to get the first crack. We've started that dialogue. We'll continue that dialogue for the next several days. We'll ultimately work up to a general public on sale that will take place at some point later here in March. A specific date is to be determined. But obviously, the biggest change, I think, is we're going to go month to month. We're only going to, at this point, put the month of April on sale. And the reason for that is we know this can change. We expect the guidance over time to hopefully get better and to us to put us in a position to allow more fans to visit the ballpark. So we think the prudent thing to do is to look at this month to month, and we'll have more specific details on that ticket availability coming out here later today.
Yeah, runner at first, Ozuna battling here. A couple of strikeouts for Marcell here this afternoon. And this one's lifted to Corey. Take it, take it. Oh.
Right off the monitor.
Wow.
Right off the monitor, and we have a working monitor.
Sounds to me like we need to sell some tickets to pay for a new monitor.
No, it's working just fine. We're good.
You did good right there, Corey.
I was
into
moving
wallpaper.
left, moving left. That was coming in hot, kid.
Yeah.
Hot.
The plexiglass here kept me from helping you out. There's strike three. Ozuna strikes out. David, would you mind sticking around maybe for another half inning, please?
Happy to do so.
All right, Dave St. Peter joins us here as Thorpe strikes out Ozuna for the third time here today. They strand two, strand one, 3.5. It's 3-0 Atlanta on your own for Twins baseball. Well, back at Hammond Stadium, 3-0 Atlanta. Noah, the right-hander, still out there, and he's going to face Nelson Cruz. Cruz just one at bat so far. Noah with 4 strikeouts. Twins with just 1 hit. That was the leadoff guy, and Luis Arraez leading the ball game off, or leading the bottom of the first off. And right back, that's over the plate, but low. The first baseman for the Atlanta Braves, Bryce Ball, is out there at first base. 47 pitches for Noah as Cruz crushes this one to left field. Ozuna out there, and he's not going to get it. He'll play it off the one hop. And Nelson's held to a long single. That sounded good. Again, Dave St. Peter joins us back in the studios. Twins announcing today that the governor has made an announcement that fans in the ballpark, and David, not only start reaching out, and you've been doing that, but how about the people that have to come now and work and start coordinating that part of it, the ushers and the beer vendors?
You know, Danny, that's a huge part of this for us. You know, they don't get talked about much, but all those folks lost an entire season of Twins baseball, and many of those people count on that income for their livelihood. They certainly count on it for a lot of friendships and fellowship, and there's a lot of pride taken in wearing a different type of jersey for the Minnesota Twins. And one of the beauties of this announcement is it puts us in a position to welcome those critical members of the Twins team back to Target Field. So I can assure you that subset of employees are incredibly excited today and thrilled to be back doing what they love to do, which is really shape that Target Field experience and welcome fans back to our ballpark.
Kind of 1 ball, 1 strike to Polanco with a runner at first. Twins trail 3-0. Is it already designed out, Dave, as to when you talked about 10,000? As Polanco taps it foul, as to, you know, obviously the separation of the fans. Is that already designed out as to where the group people will be?
Yeah, it is, Dan. You know, we submitted a very detailed readiness plan to the Minnesota Department of Health and the Walz administration. And within that plan is a very specific seating manifest with pods of either 2 or 4, and they're all physically distanced by at least 6 feet. And it's scalable across the entire ballpark. And that's the way we're going to have to ticket the ballpark. That's part of our new reality, at least here in the short term. And ultimately, when you add all those sections together, you get upwards of about 25% capacity or 10,000 fans.
Dave, let me ask you, like down here, they're selling tickets either 2 or 4 seats. Is that going to be similar to what's going to be sold at Target Field?
Yeah, you know, what we're doing in Fort Myers is really proving to be a really good dry run for us, so to speak, right? We're getting more and more experience, and it's the exact same seating philosophy that we're using at Hammond Stadium that we'll utilize at Target Field. The only difference being is Target Field obviously is quite a bit bigger, and we'll be able to add more fans. We have more gates, we have more concessions operations, and wider concourses. So the ability to keep our fans safe, so to speak, and physically distanced is even easier for us to do at Target Field.
A little breaking ball. Sano went around on it. Strike one.
Dave, in terms of folks working the games, but also those that will be attending the games in early April, that will likely be coinciding with Derek Chauvin's trial ongoing in downtown Minneapolis, keeping tabs on that, just the atmosphere around the ballpark and how that may coincide with games taking place in downtown Minneapolis as well.
Well, you know, Corey, I know that's an issue that's on fans' minds, and we've talked to a lot of fans about the state of downtown and public safety. I know at this point, downtown is frankly very calm. The protests that have gone on have been very peaceful. There's obviously a significant law enforcement presence, so I feel very safe of downtown at this point. We're going to continue to monitor things. We would not be hosting games in April if we didn't, again, believe it wasn't safe to do so. There's plenty of great parking options around Target Field, including the ABC ramps, which are frankly connected to the ballpark. And there will be a heavy security presence around Twins baseball just to ensure that everything goes off without a hitch. But I think it goes a step beyond that. And from a Twins perspective, we feel as though it's time for downtown Minneapolis to start taking steps forward back toward the electricity and buzz that our downtown normally has. And the Twins baseball will play a significant role in leading that. And I think our fans over time love Target Field and have loved the location of Target Field. And we can be a catalyst for good things to happen for our downtown, because we all know that that's so important to as the economic engine for our state.
Sano bats 2 balls and a strike, and that pitch outside, now 3-1.
Hey, Dave, one more, then we'll let you go. I know that 3M is going to play a large role into the reopening of Target Field. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, the people at 3M are obviously known worldwide for being the best in science and for developing solutions. They've been a great partner for the Twins for a long time, and we had a lot of dialogue throughout COVID about the role they could play in helping us bring fans back, and really having their scientists work in conjunction with our operations staff and our concessionaire about thinking about how we clean the ballpark, how we operate our concessions, the masks that will be provided to our staff, all of these things rooted in health and safety. And for me, it's a bit of the gold standard, so to speak, not only for the Twins, but more importantly for our fans to know that we're taking every step possible to ensure that we can play baseball and do it safely. And we'll start doing that again at home at Target Field on April 8th, and we couldn't be more excited.
Dave, we got a break in the action here, but thanks a lot for coming on here. Great news in the Twin Cities regarding the Twins and fans in the stands. So appreciate you coming on and taking your time for this.
We appreciate you guys. Be well.
Dave, thank you.
Well, we got a pitching change here. Bases loaded, nobody out. Twins trailing 3-0. So we'll be back. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Bases are loaded right now. You got Nelson Cruz over at third base. Polanco, runner at second base. Miguel Sano walked to load him up. The right-hander, Noah, is done. Around 60 pitches as well. But where the left-hander Phil Pfeiffer, 30 games between AA, AAA. That was in 2019. Went to Vanderbilt. So he got 5 years in the minor leagues. So he was at 3 levels back in 2019. A shelf last year. Kind of a spot starter. He can start, pitch out of the bullpen. So he's going to give way here. And here's Jeffers to bat. Jeffers struck out looking his first time up. See the Twins get their first run against the Atlanta Braves. And a pitch hit high in the air, left field. Ozuna started in. Now he's going to drift back. Should be deep enough for Nelson Cruz. He's going to tag up. Throw's going to come into the cutoff man, and the Twins are on the board. They trail 3-1. So nice job. Jeffers jumped on that first fastball and picks up a sac fly. RBI, his second ribby of the spring. And here is Kyle Garlick.
And this is a matchup that made Garlick appealing to put him on the roster and claim him. Good numbers throughout his minor league career against left-handed pitching, and seeing a lefty now in Pfeiffer down 2.
And foul back. Got a quick bat. He's got good size to him, but he doesn't take too many bad swings. And well, you saw Jeffers jump on that first pitch. He swung at that first pitch and a little upset. He kind of fouled it off. Having a good camp. This is a 6th ball game. A couple of home runs, 6 driven in. So Garlick, a little slide open stance. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. A curve in there. One ball, one strike. I'm sorry, no balls and 2 strikes. Polanco at second. Here's the pitch and missed outside. Tried a little backdoor breaking ball. Just in the bottom of the 4th inning. Game's been kind of chugging along a little bit. And here's the pitch. Hit into left center field. That's going to be trouble. Ozuna's not going to catch it. He will cut it off. Polanco's going to score. Sano to third. And Garlick with another RBI. First and third. Twins now trail 3-2. Well, he tried to come back with that breaking ball, and Garlick not going to be fooled twice on it. Ozuna made a nice play to cut it off. That ball goes to the wall. There's a good chance Sano's going to score. The Twins here with 2 in. Still just 1 out.
As we talked about yesterday with Eduardo Rodriguez pitching, something that hopefully will change dramatically for the Twins in 2021, how they fared offensively against left-handed pitching, because that was a troubling stat last year.
Curve in there, drops in there to Broxton for a strike.
And the Twins last year as a team against left-handed pitching were 28th out of 30 teams in slugging. And that, you wouldn't have thought that with the makeup of the team. Now, Donaldson missed a lot of time, so did Byron. And Garver was out.
And a swing and a miss, chased a little something off speed, and now has to battle. He's in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes.
Outside of Nelson Cruz, who crushed lefties again last year, it was an disappointing trend with how the Twins fared against left-handed pitching.
Broxton, tough guy to double up, put it in play. Check swing, see if he went. Good buddy Tim Timmons at first base said he did not go around. Pfeiffer off the mound. He's going to walk on the grass towards second base, and now we'll turn around and climb back up on the mound and toe the rubber. And the lefty's pitch, a slow tapper down third base, tough play, and not going to make it as he tried to barehand it. Lamb, and that's going to tie the ball game up on an infield base hit. And that's what Broxton will bring, his speed. The Twins have tied it up 3-3.
We'll close the book on Huascar Ynoa, former Twin minor leaguer. 3+ innings, 3 runs, 3 hits. He walked 3, struck out 4. Cruz, Polanco, Sano got this rally going. RBIs from Jeffers, Garlick, and Broxton all even 3-3.
Here's the 9-hitter, Refsnyder, getting a start in right field. And this pitch got the plate but low. Of course, you talk about the slugging percentage against left-handed pitching last year. And, you know, yeah, sometimes that you've got a lineup that's heavy left-handed. Pitch high and away. 2 balls and no strikes. And Rosario was part of that group. But Rosario signed with the Cleveland Indians. And I was surprised a little bit in Rosario not really being tendered a contract. Just became a free agent. He led the club in homers, RBIs last 2 years. Ground ball, that's going to go foul, third base side.
I mean, with Kirilloff, and we talked about this yesterday, in left field, he's a left-handed batter. Kepler in right, left-handed batter. Polanco, a switch hitter. It should be a pretty dominant right-handed hitting lineup, with Arraez, of course, moving around. But say, for example, game 1, he's on the bench. He's a left-handed hitter. But I think it'll be predominantly a right-handed hitting lineup.
It's going to be well balanced. Donaldson stays healthy. He's there. You've got Andrelton Simmons, who magician with that bat. And just his glove is just outstanding. Pitch inside. Snyder now bats 3 balls and 1 strike. Pfeiffer's come in and he's fallen behind and dinged up a little bit. Recorded just 1 out. Runner's not going to the pitch. Lifted foul right side.
One reason that, you know, we've discussed a bit here in camp about, you know, a route for the Twins to perhaps leave with 14 pitchers. Yes, it would leave them with 3-man bench, but 4 with the National League game in Milwaukee in that series with Nelson Cruz on the bench there. So 4 for that series. But you could see a 3-man bench, and I say that because it's a lineup that who are you going to pinch hit for? I mean, you're just probably not going to lift too many guys for a pinch hitter.
Yeah, that ball's popped up. Infield, shortstop. Shading his eyes. It's going to be an infield fly rule called. So Refsnyder flies out to the shortstop. Top of the order here is the aforementioned Arraez. You know, Corey, it might not be that who are you going to pinch hit for. It's who are you going to pinch run for. Because there might be a situation where you've got speed in one of those extra guys on the bench and not speed on the bases. And depending on how you want to play it, maybe you do it that way, not so much pinch hit for the guy, but we're going to pinch run for the guy.
But Jake Cave could perhaps be in that role if he's not starting in a game and makes the team, that he could do that. And, you know, say, let's throw a hypothetical out there. Say it's a 1-run game, 9th inning in Milwaukee, and Kirilloff's spot is coming up. Yes, he took a lefty deep yesterday.
Line down the right field line. That's trouble. Here comes Garlick around third. He'll score. They're going to wave Broxton around. Here comes the throw by Kipnis, and he's going to be safe at home. Kipnis' throw was in time. The catcher, he put the tag down. Arraez, he's pulled the ball hard twice now. That's a double. Diaz, third base coach, being real aggressive. And the throw to the plate, kind of a swipe tag. And not sure that he got that hand underneath the tag of the catcher. Twins now 5-run 4th inning, lead 5-3.
Just to finish up that thought, though, say Josh Hader's closing for Milwaukee, hard-throwing lefty. Do you take Kirilloff out in that spot? Then maybe do you go to, say Jeffers starts, and then does Garver come in to bat? But I just think it's a lineup that's going to play itself out. And, yeah, I could see a pinch run spot here and there late in the game. But I think this lineup is going to stay pretty much, you know, with what you see, you know, barring injury and maybe a day off here and there from the get-go.
You know, I'm not sure Hader against Kirilloff, he's your future. He needs those early at-bats against a top-of-the-line pitcher, left-hander like that, so he can put in his Rolodex so he knows, hey, I've been here before. I know what this guy features. Simmons takes it low. I always like to try to put guys in a category. You know, he's a good hard slider. Slider's 84, 86. Okay, he's got a fastball, a little bit of a cut on it. Try to put him, you know, the arm slot, put all that into picture and try to create a game plan that way. That one's popped up. Center field should be playable. Heredia, grab it and puts it away. Twins though erupt. They bat 9 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. New score after 4. It's the Twins 5. The Atlanta Braves 3. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Well, the Twins with a 5-run 4th inning batted 9. In inning now lead 5-3. Alex Colomé will come on and pitch for the Twins 1 inning for Thorpe. Tony Diaz joins us down in the dugout. And we understand that if any of your guys commit an error this inning because you're not coaching them, then we have to do 15 push-ups. I have to do mine with Corey Probers on my back.
I like that trade-off for sure, yeah.
Do you? All right. But what I was proposing is we would still like you to coach your infielders. I see Toby down there kind of, you know, doing it, but we'd like to hear maybe some of the language the verbiage that might be sent out there to maybe some of the infielders.
There's more signs than actual verbiage, so that they know where to go. Usually before 2 strikes, we start in a certain formation, and then after 2 strikes, we moved either more to the pull side or maybe the opposite side.
Here's Sandoval to bat. He has 2 hits today, drove in a run. As Colomé right back, no balls and 2 strikes.
What was it like to get Andrelton Simmons on the backfields, not just today in the game, but Tony, once he got cleared and you got a chance to see him with that Twins uniform on earlier in the week?
It was extremely exciting for me personally, but also for everyone involved here. Obviously, he's one of the top defensive shortstops in the game, and not only that, you know, he's regarded as a great teammate, and we are already seeing that here.
What makes him so good?
I think the instincts are off the chart. This guy, he seems to be ahead of the game, and some of those things that are really hard to teach, you know, that are more innate than teachable. So, you know, I hope that our guys can learn from him, and myself included. And it's going to be fun to have him more, and definitely it's going to be an impactful addition to our ball club.
Tony, we had Royce Lewis on earlier, and he was sitting there, and he says he likes to watch pre-pitch movement. He was talking about Simmons. Tell our listeners a little bit what you're seeing when you see a pitcher or you talk about pre-pitch movement.
Pre-pitch movement is, in other words, just anticipation. You know, you have to anticipate, one movement one way or the other. And that's based on the pitch type, based on the hitter's swing. And again, it comes down to being locked in prior to the pitch and picking up the catcher signs and then anticipating one way or the other. That's what it is, really. You have to be in a position in which, you know, you got to be moving before the ball is hit.
There's a line drive past a diving Romine at shortstop. Or I'm sorry, that is not. That's Miranda, who's inserted at third base. You know, I always consider pre-pitch movement, you know, as that ball's crossing home plate, you're a little bit of a half step and on the balls of your feet, anticipating, like you said, going to my left, going to my right, I got to charge it. And a lot of times, maybe, in particular outfielders, you might not see as much pre-pitch movement. Important, though, for your infielders, correct?
It's critical. I think, you know, the best ones, do it consistently. You know, the challenge is the consistency of it, and to stay locked in for 150 pitches every night is certainly not easy. But, again, it's achievable, and that's what we are trying to get our infielders to do it on a consistent basis. 150 pitches a night.
Yeah, it's not easy because you really take that one pitch off or that pitcher, ball 1, ball 2. Then we have a tendency to kind of sit back and anticipate the ball not being thrown for a strike, and that's the one that's going to maybe hurt you a little bit.
You're absolutely right. And then, you know, usually on hitters count, you know, the exit velocity goes up because, you know, those guys, they're ready to swing it, and typically, you know, exit velo is going to be up, so you got to be ready to anticipate maybe more to the pull side.
Well, ground ball got under the glove of Sano, but Polanco picked it up, and a nice job by Colomé right there, picking one another up. That's a play that you're in charge of here at PFPs for the pitchers.
Yeah, they're definitely part of the first line of defense here with the rest of the infielders, and you know, having a pitcher that is athletic and again ready to know where he's supposed to go, that makes things easier for us.
Tony, looking back at last year, the Twins were on the higher side of all teams in just overall shift percentage. But now with a healthy Donaldson and you have the addition of Andrelton Simmons, does your strategy change with how much you will shift on that left side of the infield with those two guys part of this team?
I don't think the strategy changes. I don't think the one thing is going to be enhanced because of those guys, you know, capabilities of, you know, and the range. You know, we're still going to shift, and obviously it's objective data behind that. And you know, even on the shift, you know, one of the side effects of the shift is that guys tend not to anticipate as much. And you know, we battle that, and I think everybody has bought in. We know that we still have to anticipate, even though balls are going to be hit our way, but not exactly at you specifically. So you got to, I think it's going to be enhanced rather than change.
Kipnis bats here. 1 ball, no strikes with 2 down, runner at second. Twins lead 5-3. And a swing and a miss. How disappointing was it hearing the news about Lewis being lost for the season?
Oh, it was really disappointing. Obviously, you know, he's a tremendous human being, a great kid, and a great talent. And, you know, we dream along with those kids. And, you know, to know that this year is not going to happen for him, you know, it broke everybody's hearts. But at the same time, things happen. Hopefully he can grow mentally from this. And next year he'll be ready to go.
But as an infield coach, when you have a talent like that and he's taking that next step up, disappointing for maybe a coach's standpoint that you're going to be not being able to work with him and help progress his talent.
Yes, from that standpoint for sure. But again, like I alluded to, you know, during times of adversity, that's where the mental fortitude come into play, and he can make strides mentally for sure. And I think that's he's on board for that, and you know, we are still excited to see him flourish. Hopefully next year.
Hey, Tony, what's been the biggest adjustment with Jorge Polanco moving primarily to second base, a position he's played in the past throughout his career, but now doing it more on a full-time basis?
The biggest adjustment is just like you guys talked about, the shift. You know, when he plays second base in the minor leagues, there wasn't a lot of shifting done. So he's got to be used to that, and also turning double plays from that angle as much as possible so that he can get comfortable. But other than that, you know, he's a really good athlete. He's got tremendous baseball sense, and I think he's done a nice job with that transition. In
April of 19, you changed his throwing motion with Tony Fernandez, the late Tony Fernandez from the same hometown, by dropping his arm slot down. Will he maintain that throwing motion now playing at second?
It's actually more conducive to second base, that throwing motion. And again, I didn't change him. He you know, an adjustment that we did together, and you know, he saw the benefit of it, and you know, I'm really proud of the fact that, you know, that it helped him a lot and it gave him more confidence.
Well, we appreciate you, Tony Diaz, sticking around and giving us some time here during in-between innings. So appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Tony.
It's always my pleasure. Tony
Diaz joined us, infield coach for the Minnesota Twins, as the Braves strand one. We're going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Twins lead 5-3. You're listening to Twins Baseball. (5-3) Minnesota. Here comes a DH for Minnesota. It's going to be Nelson Cruz. Cruz got that 5-run 4th inning going with a leadoff single. Well, first there, new pitcher is going to be Touki Toussaint, a right-hander, bright red shoes. And the first pitch on the way to Cruz, taken all the way, and it's in there for a strike at 93. And right back, there's strike 2. Nelson tracking all the way. Get you that station ID break here when time permits. As Tucson delivers curve in the dirt. We'll step out 10 seconds, allow our stations to identify themselves. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Cruz bats with a count of 1-2, and a pitch laced down the left field line, but that's going to be foul. Well, that was a hanging breaking ball, and Nelson kind of out in front. Baseball is for everyone. And the Twins Community Fund is working to ensure that every kid who wants to play baseball or softball has access to the resources they need to play. Learn more and join us at twinscommunity.com. twinscommunityfund.com. As Nelson Cruz, 2-hit day for Nelly. And most likely he'll get lifted. His day is over. That's Xander Wheel will come on and pinch run for Nelson Cruz. Here's Blanco to bat. Jorge with a base hit. He's 1 for 2. And the first pitch runs it outside. 93 on the fastball. Couple of changes here for defense for Atlanta. It's Abraham Almonte is out in right field now. Not sure who. We get a third baseman. Brandon Shoemake. Runner at first, and the pitch lined into center field might stay up, and it is. Heredia is going to track that one down. Hit fairly well. Blancos hit the ball hard a couple of times good here today. 1 out. And here is Miguel Sano. Gotta love the weather. Gotta love the fans. Miguel walked his last time up. He's 0 for 1. And a check swing. They're going to say if he went. And yes, he did. Couldn't hold up.
Are you kidding me? You literally didn't even see it. You literally didn't even see it.
You know, Sano's going to have to cut down the strikeouts a little bit.
Back to the minors, dude. I didn't think you could make a worse call, but that's the new leader in the clubhouse, that call.
Corey, can you talk to your pass list down there?
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah. And there's strike 2.
I told my dad, I'm like, Dad,
just let the umpire do his job.
Be civil. Just sit there, enjoy the game, and don't make a scene.
But when you're he used to be an umpire, so he you know.
Just sit there and be a spectator.
Yes.
Have a beer and a dog and shush.
And a pitch missed inside. And 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Right. Jackson asked if he went. He might have went. He might have went. Thought about going. Maybe he could read his mind.
I'm sure umpires miss that in the winter, don't they?
Shortstop, Eddie Adrianza. On the roster in camp with Atlanta. Is it shortstop? Check swing. And we're going to say Sano went around.
That was a straight call, and you said he swung. Right.
Tucson with his first strikeout. And here's Jeffers to bat. Give me a bottle of water. He's right underneath me. I can cool him off.
He may want a shot at the title.
You know what, though? He paid for a ticket to come into the ballpark. Your dad can say what he wants. Right. Okay. There's a ground ball. Crisply hit to the third baseman. He'll get the out at second. And force out Wheel. We've completed 5. 5-3 Minnesota. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Twins a lead 5-3. Good news up in the Twin Cities. The governor will allow Twins fans at Target Field this year. So some excitement there And I'm excited to hand it back to my partner. Here's Corey Provis.
All right, Danny, thank you. It's going to be Taylor Rogers on for the 4th time here in the spring. Twins by 2 as the inning begins here in the 6th. The swing and a foul. Around home plate, 0-1 count. Guillermo Heredia is the hitter, 1 for 2. Rogers, 21 games last year. Saved 9 in 11 tries. Struck out 24 in 20 innings and walked only 4 batters all year. The 0-1 pitch, a fly ball into right center, deep but playable. Refsnyder backpedals, comes in, sunglasses on, makes the catch. About 10 feet shy of the track, and that is out number 1. Well, Taylor was kind enough to join us a couple of days ago, and Rogers, using his own words, he said he had to kind of reset his mind entering 2021, as well as 2019 went. Some areas to improve upon after what he said were some down moments in 2020. Swinging a foul back. Alex Jackson, catcher, 0 for 2 today. A strikeout and a ground out to short. Twins 5, Braves 3 here in the 6th inning. And for Rogers, what he told us, he said the work has been on his slider. And the slider last year, the batting average jumped about 50 points off that pitch last year. A swing and a miss. And now it's an 0-2 count. And the slugging percentage, that also jumped about 50, 60 points. The strikeout rate went down. And the 0-2 pitch, a high towering pop-up infield, foul territory off the line at third. Miranda, Jeffers out, and nobody catches it. Jeffers and Miranda looking at one another, separated by about 2 feet, smiling somewhat, but that's a ball that should have been caught. We've had windier days and just 2 guys that were going after it. And at the end, one said, I got it. The other one said, okay. And they missed it by probably about 5-6 feet. 5-3 Twins here in the 6th inning. Base is empty, 1 out, 0-2 count on Jackson, drafted as a catcher by Seattle, but then the Mariners moved him to the outfield. Braves got him, moved him back behind the plate. Rogers misses down low. Yeah, but Rogers struck out back in 2019, a great year. Could have been an all-star season for Rogers, 32% of all hitters. That's a great number. And the strikeout rate from the hitter standpoint, league average about 23%. Rogers was 32% in 2019. The 1-2 pitch has hit a ton but foul. You know, last year it was above league average. It was better, but that number did drop off. 26% strikeout rate compared to 32 the year before. And Rocco Baldelli has never truly named Rogers as the closer officially, even though he's done it. He's never had that title. The 1-2, strike 3 call. Fastball inner half of the plate at 94, raising the arms of Jackson. And there are 2 out. And this year, for some reason, Rocco, I doubt he's going to say it again. He's not going to say that Rogers is the Twins closer. He's not going to say it because I think this year, maybe more than other years, the Twins have truly some other options that will, probably close games. Not to say that Trevor May couldn't do it, or Duffy in the past, or certainly Romo. But I think you'll see kind of a match, a mix and match at times, depending on who's coming up. But Colomé can do it, Robles can do it, Duffy could do it if need be.
And I'm not sure if it matters, if there's left-handers in the lineup, do you go to then Rogers compared to maybe 3 or 4 right-handed hitters that he would have to face?
Strike 2, Danny, on Phillip Ervin. Twins by 2 in the 6th.
There's so much information out there that, maybe the right-handers, like you talked about our slugging percentage against left-handed pitching last year. Okay. Maybe some of these hitters are having a tough time with left-handed pitching. There's your matchup.
0-2 count. And the pitch, check swing, breaking ball. He went, rung up by Tim Timmons up the first base line. Rogers, 1, 2, 3, 6th, striking out 2. Twins coming up, bottom 6, leading 5-3 from Fort Myers. This is Twins baseball. Now warm up on the warm beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. Unplug, relax, and find your island. To plan your safe trip, go to FortMyersSanibel.com. Beaches packed today. Why not? Lovely day outside. 82 degrees, sunshine here in Southwest Florida. Twins have a 5-3 lead. Drew Maggi will bat for the first time in place of Kyle Garlick. Now, Maggi had a 2-run homer the other day. Takes a strike. Maggi bats right-handed. Touki Toussaint still pitching. As he misses down low at 93, it's even now 1-1. Well, Danny, we touched on this earlier, and we learned after yesterday's game. And the 1-1, a buckling breaking ball stays high and tight, ball 2, that Major League Baseball announcing changes that will impact the minor leagues come this season. Some rule changes they're going to try out at different levels. The 2-1 pitch, a weak ground ball to third. This is scooped up by the Braves third baseman, throws across, and Maggi is out, number 1. Let's get to a few if we can. Let's start with a few that stood out to you. Beginning at AAA with the size of the bases increasing from 15 to 18 inches.
Yeah, and I'm not sure reading it, they're talking about that it's going to create more action, more runs. And, you know, you think about 18 inches, it's 3 inches there, 3 inches at second base. You know, are you going to get more stolen bases? You know, things like that. They talked also how important that is, that they're going to come up with a new base that is not slippery, because they used Bryce Harper in 2017, must have slipped on a base and kind of hurt his knee. And they, of course, you don't want to take care of your marquee players, but
curveball grounded wide at third. Nice play, but the Braves third baseman on the second up spins and throws out Broxton, 2 down.
But I promise you, he probably hit the bag wrong. It wasn't the fact that it was slippery and wet, but you know, go back to Posey, the collision at home plate. The rule changed shortly thereafter, but you know, I find a lot of this stuff very silly. And again, the league and the people that are in charge and the analysis within the games that they're trying to study, you know, Michael Hill, MLB's president of on-field operations, former Marlins GM, talks about we're listening to our fans. I'm not sure the fans know about 15-inch bag or a 18-inch bag at first base, but you know, there's so many of them, Corey, that are somewhat laughable, and that you can only throw over to first base twice. And in order to throw over to first base, you have to step off the rubber.
1-1 to Refsnyder's down low, and that's going to be a trial rule at A ball. So that's not going to be at AAA, but what you're speaking of is going to be at A ball.
You start at the now all of a sudden by the time they incorporate it to that AA, AAA, those guys that were groomed on it are going to practice it, but you can only throw over there twice. After that, you can't throw over there. So now as a base runner, he's thrown over here twice, so now I can take off before he even throws the ball, because if he steps off now, is that a balk? They haven't. I don't think they've thought that one.
Yeah, if you throw over a third time and the runner at first is safe, that is going to be considered a balk, and the runner will be granted second base. Now, just to, as Refsnyder takes outside, 2-2 count, that rule is going to be in low A only. So here in Fort Myers for the Mighty Muscle, that will be in play for their league, not for high A Cedar Rapids.
It doesn't matter. High A, low A, it's in baseball.
Flared in the air, shallow right. That's played by the second baseman, and that is out number 3. We'll talk more about that when we come back out of the 7th. Braves batting, Twins 5, Atlanta 3. This is Twins baseball. Stream every regular season game live or on demand with MLB.tv online on your favorite supported device. Receive select spring training games as well. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Check out MLB.tv for details. Bryce Ball, the hitter for the Braves, first baseman, first pitch ready, and rakes a single to right. A line drive base hit off Tyler Duffy. Was on for the 4th time here this spring. Duffy has become one of the more dominant relievers in the game. Last 2 years, what a turn this young man has taken. You can make a case that entering the 2019 season, it was make or break time for him, that he was perhaps going to be taken off the roster, as he hung a curveball ripped to left down the line of the corner deep, and that's going to skip off the base of the wall. The throw comes in to Romine near third and bounces off the 15-inch base. At third base, picked up by Miranda on a double. And that was not Ozuna.
Trey Harris.
As Trey Harris, who had his first swing. So the Braves have seen 2 pitches, a single and a double. And now second and third, nobody out. And Braden Shoemake is the hitter. So first at bat for Shoemake, and a 2-run game as Duffy goes off speed outside corner, a strike. Just to finish up the Tyler Duffy conversation, he was at a significant crossroads in his career, and it was either try something new or your time most likely with the Twins was going to end. And the 0-1 is popped foul, so he got together with Wes Johnson and Josh Kalk and Colby Suggs and so many more in the Twins front office as David Banuelos, takes over behind the plate to catch. And Duffy bought in, got rid of the 2-seamer and relied heavily on his 4-seamer and curveball, a hard-breaking ball, and with that, his strikeout percentage has been among the league's best the last 2 seasons. And the pitch is pulled foul. He's a strikeout here. As Shoemake bounces one towards the first base dugout, ricochets back out near the first base line.
Corey, I think also what benefited Duffy was, he was kind of that long guy, spot starter. Really didn't have a defined role on the club, and he was just trying to grind out some innings. But once he got more of a defined role, what you saw right away, spin rate increased, velocity went up.
0-2, swing and a miss, and down he goes at 91. The fastball retires Shoemake, 1 out. A guy that can pitch himself out of a jam because he can do that. And strikeout stuff. Could use another one here. Now Sean Kazmar Jr. will bat. I believe Kazmar took over at third base. AAA Gwinnett in 2019, a .270 hitter. He's had a good camp so far, limited games, but 3 for 6 at the plate. Infield back. And the pitch, a swing at a fly ball. Trouble left field deep. Back goes Maggi on the track, and Maggi will not have a play. That's a home run. Now this Braves offense, they have been first pitch ready against Duffy. They've taken some swings to begin these at-bats and done damage. And with that, the Braves have the lead on a 7th inning 3-run homer from Kazmar. It's 6-5 Atlanta.
Well, the first 2 guys, they jumped on that first pitch they saw. They had action, and then it woke up Duffy a little bit, and then right there, ready to hit. Left it up in the zone.
And Duffy had and now we'll see Eddie Adrianza, former Twin. Non-roster invite here with the Braves. Breaking ball, bunts, third base line. This will be a base hit. Twins had 3 on the right side. So Adrianza can always do that. Better bunter left-handed, I would say, than right-handed. Got the bunt down. Twins had the shift on. And boy, Marwin had a big day against the Twins yesterday, and now Adrianza with a bunt. And Wes Johnson is going to jog out. Haven't seen Wes yet today to talk here with Duffy, who's got a bit of a smile on his face as he tries to get back into a good groove here. I was going to say Duffy, his first outing this spring, gave up 3 runs in less than an inning against the Red Sox. Had back-to-back scoreless appearances since, but a rough 7th inning today. The Twins need this guy. He'll be a vital part of the bullpen. 6-5 Atlanta. And here is veteran Ryan Goins. Former Blue Jay. Seen him over the years. Left-handed hitter. He's played in over 550 career games. As Duffy goes breaking ball, inner half of the plate, strike. And the pitch, a swing and a foul back. Back-to-back breaking balls. And it's 0-2. Twins down 1. Runner at first base. That's Adrianza. And the 0-2 fastball pops outside at 90. And the 1-2 pitch, a fly ball into right. In now going back is Refsnyder. He'll catch it over his shoulder for the second out. Back to first is Adrianza. 6-5 Braves, 2 down, 7th inning. And the batter will be Michael Harris. Reading a lot of neat things about this 20-year-old. Non-roster invite, Georgia native from DeKalb. Went to high school in Stockbridge, Georgia. He was at the alternate site in Gwinnett, where the Braves have their AAA team at the age of 19 last year. As a curve, a slow curve at 71, drops in for a strike. Nick Markakis, who just announced his retirement. But Markakis, remember, last year first opted out, but then opted back in and was at the alternate site to get ready. And the 0-1, Harris sends one foul. And once Markakis joined the big league club, he raved about this guy. He said, let me tell you something. There's this 19-year-old at the alternate site named Michael Harris. You guys got to take a look at. He can really play. And he's had a chance to have a few moments here in the spring in 2021. And the 0-2 is strike 3 called inside corner, so Duffy. A shaky 7th, strikes out a couple, but the Braves take the lead, scoring 3. Let's stretch in Fort Myers. Twins are down 1, 6-5 Atlanta. On your home for Twins baseball. The game's first 3, Sandoval RBI single. Johan Camargo 2-run homer off Andrew Vasquez. Twins put up 5 in the 4th and had the lead until the Braves got 3 off Tyler Duffy a moment ago in the 7th. Jose Miranda leads off the inning, swings and pops it up into right. Almonte over makes the call and the catch. And that is out number 1. And the batter will be Andrew Romine. Still Touki Toussaint is the pitcher for the Braves. We were going through some of the new rules that will be in place in the minor leagues this season. Romine pulls a ground ball behind first. That's played by Bryce Ball. Take it to the bag and 2 pitches and 2 quick outs. One thing we did not touch on is a rule change at AA, and they're going to take a look at the defensive shift. And for the time being at AA, they're not going to eliminate the shift in that you can't have 3 defenders on one side of the infield. But what they will do is limit where the defenders can play in terms of on the dirt or on the outfield grass. As Xander Wheel takes down low ball 1, they're going to start out by, yes, you can have 3 playing on one side of the infield, but all 3 must be on the infield dirt, or if you elect to play in on the infield grass. The 1-0 pitch is down low, 6-5 Braves, 7th inning, but you cannot, for example, Freddie Freeman was going to have a base hit, score a run with a line drive in the 2nd that was caught by Polanco, who was playing about 20 feet out of the grass and right. And the 2-0 pitch is popped foul right side. That will not be allowed at AA, Danny, so you can shift. But all 3 must play on the infield dirt or the infield grass to start with.
You know, and obviously that they're just trying to gather information. And from what I'm reading, Corey, frustrating. It's funny to me that they're just trying to reinvent the game. What they're actually doing is they're wrecking it.
Popped up, back to short, routine Adrianza, and that's a 1-2-3-7. We'll come back, continue that.
You're killing my thunder, you know that.
Stay hot, buddy. This is called the tease. Let's keep them locked in here. 8th inning coming up, 6-5 Braves on your home for Twins baseball. This will be our final inning, 8th inning. Braves 6, Twins 5. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins. Pitcher Glenn Sparkman, Shea Langoliers. A check swing did not go. Sparkman misses down low, ball 1. Sparkman, non-roster invite, former Royal. In his 4 games with Kansas City last year, through 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. Over his career, not a big strikeout percentage. Langoliers, a ball with the Braves in 2019 as he takes strike 2. Langoliers was the 2nd catcher drafted a couple of years ago, 1st-round pick by the Braves. He's behind Adley Rutschman, number 1 pick with the Orioles. Langoliers to right, shallow near the line. Ref Snyder to his left, running, stretching, and catching up against the Twins on the front of his jersey. And that is out number 1. All right, Danny, the inning ended. Let's go back to your thoughts on the AA rule, in particular, the shifting idea, and still allowing it, but not allowing defenders to play in the grass, outfield grass.
And again, I'm trying to find out what the purpose of that is, and it's to create more offense is what I'm hearing. The oversized bases now are going to create more stolen bases, which in turn then creates more runs. But we look out there right now, you've got a second baseman or a shortstop or second baseman playing out on the grass there. That now is going to have to be able to come in and play on the dirt. Now, you're going to have somebody that's got to police that, right? And what's the penalty if you step back on it? Is it going to be a ball? Is it going to be you put a base runner on? There's too many silly things going on here with this. And yes, I understand they're trying to learn from it, but like I said earlier, it's an experiment. They're going to look at it the first half of the season, maybe make some adjustments. It's a pure game. They're oversizing the bases. They're doing so many other things. I like the 15-second time clock. You know, they're putting that in.
Pitch clock?
It was at 20 seconds, so now it's at a 15-second. They're trying to speed up. I'm in agreement with Kyle. You know what?
Really?
Yeah. Oh. You know what you do?
Breaking news.
You larger strike zone, swing the bat. How about that?
I'm with you.
Is that not going to speed the game up?
I'm with you.
Is that not going to create more action?
1-2 on the way to Almonte, lined into right center field towards the gap, but that will land for a base hit. As Ref Snyder picks it up near the warning track, Abraham Almonte, whom we saw with Cleveland in the past as a one-out double in the 8th inning. Braves up 6-5.
You know, I understand it, and it's funny because, you know, Theo Epstein, former general manager of the Chicago Cubs, now assistant to the commissioner. They've got these front office guys that are working at it. I just, you know, the game, and I was trying to think, you know, the game evolves is what they're trying to say. I'm trying to think, in my lifetime, what did I see change in the game? I know that, I'm not sure what year it was, that they raised the mound or lowered the mound because of Bob Gibson. Incredible. They wanted more offense. So they changed that. They incorporated the DH. They wanted some more offense there. Let the game breathe. Let it play. Don't try to start changing things. It's almost like they're trying to turn it into like a video arcade game or something out here.
Braves by 1 in the 8th inning. A man at second. 1 out. The 1-0 pitch, a swing and a miss by the bat of Bryce Ball. You know, the shift is a hot topic of debate, and people have very strong opinions on the matter. If you like it, if you don't, if it's good, if it's bad.
It's strategy.
It's strategy. That's how I've looked at it, Danny.
Good.
Strategy.
I do too.
And the 1-1, and that is over but high. You are playing because the hitter says this is where we should play.
Exactly.
The hitter's track record over a period of time. This goes back to when they were in the minor leagues. You may say, boy, a guy's coming up. He's got a spring training at bat. How do they know this? They know because they have the same technology in the minor leagues. And it's part of what teams do. Cute in the ground, left side, base hit left field.
Yeah, beat the shift right there, didn't
shift there. Throw comes back in for Magic, cut off by Miranda, and the Braves have runners at the corners as Almonte makes third. Ball a 2-hit day.
That's how you beat the shift.
Go ahead, do it.
If I've got 3 guys on the left side, I only got a first baseman on the right side of the diamond, and I'm being taught to get the ball, the launch angle, that 19 to 27 degree launch angle. I think I can teach a kid to hit the ball on the ground the other way because there's nobody over there. And what we saw with Adrianza, they had a 2-run lead. 1-run lead. He beat the shift by laying down a bunt.
Trying to make this team part of his game.
Exactly.
Good play. Good play. Twins were defending with the shift on, giving him that third base line. And Adrianza, veteran player, got the bunt down and was on base.
There are some people that will come down and tell you the bunt doesn't mean anything. You know, we'd rather have you hit the ball at that launch angle, exit velocity. Therefore, you've got a better chance to get to second base.
Ground ball right side, base hit right field against a drawn-in infield. And that scores Almonte. So ball down to second base. The Braves have a 7-5 lead here in the 8th inning. The Twins have the infield in there, and that was hit hard on the right side by Trey Harris.
You know, there used to be a time. I'm sorry, Corey. There used to be a time that, you know, when I would come down to spring training, and Rod Carew, expert bunter, would take 4 or 5 guys to the cage or in the backfield, and we would work on bunting. Well, the last couple of years, Rod Carew says he got 0 guys to go out there and bunt with him. 0. So it's not even a thought anymore about bunting practice.
2 on, 1 out. Shoemake the hitter, swings and sends one foul. The analogy that we were talking about before the game, I don't know how you feel about this, but in terms of you're going to say that you cannot shift anymore, okay, in football. Well, are you going to tell me when and where I can blitz? You can only blitz from one side of the line of scrimmage. You know, you do your research and you think the left tackle is weak. You think this running back isn't good at picking up a rusher or good at blocking, and the 0-1 pitch is sent foul. Therefore, you're going to expose that and try to attack that side of the line of scrimmage. It's strategy based on research you've done. In baseball, you're looking at tendencies, and you're positioning defenders in a certain spot in a certain way because you have a track record of where a guy has hit the ball routinely. Not all the time. But
it's routinely
enough to make a move.
With that kind of pitch and that kind of pitcher out on the mound throws that particular slider.
Swinging a foul. That is hung on to, and Shoemake strikes out. Breaking ball from Sparkman. 7-5 Braves. Danny, 2 on, 2 out, 8th inning.
You know, so it's just you know, the data that goes into it, sometimes it doesn't make sense because, you know, you play a shift on a left-handed hitter, so you got 3 over there, but then the pitcher pitches the ball away. Well, as a hitter, I was taught in order to hit the ball away, you got to hit it the other way. Ball inside, I pull it. So they're doing you a favor by shifting, and then they're going to pitch the ball away. That's the one I take the other way with.
Pitches inside. That's ball 1. Now, the Braves are a really good team. Obviously, they were, in terms of defense last year, they shifted the lowest percentage of any team in baseball, like 8-9% of the time. But then the world champion Dodgers shifted the most in all of baseball.
They didn't win the World Series because they shifted the most.
I'm sure their defense certainly played into it, though, but I'm not saying that it was the only reason why, but I think there is a connection to that the Dodgers were a complete team, but it worked for their personnel and how they defended, where they defended. But in terms of shift percentage, the Dodgers were #1 last year. 7-5, 2-0 count. A swing and a foul back. That's beneath us. And now a 2-1 count.
I'll say it again. They didn't win the World Series because they shifted the most. Yes, you know, and we talk about it. Analytics, absolutely, there's a part of it in the game. Absolutely. 162 games a season, yes. Those analytics are going to pop up. More so than in a playoff game, okay? You need to have a feel for a playoff game. That's a whole different animal than the regular season.
Swing and a miss, Danny. 2-2 on Kazmar. Had the big home run off Duffy in the 7th inning that gave the Braves the lead.
You know, Kevin Cash is still hearing about it from taking Snell out of the ball game when he was dealing. A couple of years before that, wasn't it our guy Hill that was pitching for the Dodgers? Rich Hill that came out. He had a one-hitter going against Boston and took him out of the game because the analytics said to.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. This is popped up. Foul. This one will be just above our heads again. Got some action earlier. And Kazmar sent one above our booth.
You know, Corey, I've been working on my own analytics and analysis.
What do you got?
Stuff. MIH. MIH.
Must intercept.
Yeah, enough.
Hits.
Make it happen.
Oh.
Okay? Make it happen. I got one more for you. I got a bunch of them at home.
Popped up foul. Get out of play. I want to hear this. Miranda measuring near the dugout.
Way out of play.
Way out of play. Third base side. Go ahead.
Okay. GED.
That's what you get, Danny, if you want to get a degree out of high school.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you get? GED. So Gladden.
Nope. Get
accepts
done.
Dollars.
Get her done.
Get her done. So
yep.
You and Larry the Cable Guy.
He's a funny man. What are you talking about? Okay.
Well, he's already gotten that one. So that get her done is going to be tough because that's his shtick.
Yeah, but how many times you leave the dugout? Well, I'm telling you how many times. You leave the dugout, they go, hey, get her done. Okay?
Right.
Let's go. Guy on second base, get her done. Okay? Or you're leading an inning off. Hey, make it happen. Right?
I like that. Make it happen.
That's the encouragement.
So you just measure you said here's a scenario, make it happen, check mark, he does, minus if he doesn't, and you just keep tabs.
No, you're missing it. You're missing it. That player there gets it done. Okay?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That player there gets it done. That player there, he don't get it done.
2 on 2 out. Sparkman trying to get it done here in the 8th inning.
Thank you.
Righty to righty. And the 2-2 pitch line to short and past Romine, base hit left field. And the runner at third will be held as Maggie's throw comes all the way in. So the Braves have loaded the bases. With 2 out. Leading 7-5 in the 8th inning.
We got a day off tomorrow. I'm going to work on it. I got a few more, but
okay. I like make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
You know how many times your coach, your hitting coach, your manager, hey, make it happen. Let's go. Make it happen. Your teammate, make it happen. You know, tough to go look at a number that says, hey, 32%, 32.7% of the time is going to be a curveball. But don't forget, look out for his changeup. That comes 16% of the time.
Adrianza takes high ball 1. Adrianza got it done with a bunt single off Duffy in the 7th inning. Eddie Adrianza, enjoyed watching him play.
Good player.
Last few years.
Got a good skill set, can do a lot.
And the 1-0 pitch, and that's a strike. I think one of his better Twins moments came early in 2019. The Twins and Astros had a great series, and the Twins won one game 1-0. Adrianza, on a previous pitch, he was facing Verlander. Check swing. Third base umpire said did not go. The next pitch or two ripped a home run to right. Odorizzi threw a gem that night for the Twins. Twins won the game 1-0. And it was on Adrianza's solo shot to the plaza in right off of Verlander. The first times the Twins beat Verlander in about 30 years. They had a run going against him that was tough. So did many, but in particular the Twins. But Adrianza hit that home run. And Rocco Baldelli let Adrianza even manage a game late in 2019. And the 2-1 is high ball 3. He did the media and everything after the game too. Lineup card before the game, and it was his show. But Adrianza, when he was with the Twins his first year, 2014, 2015, around that time, Paul Molitor was managing, and Molitor loved him from the get-go. And the 3-1 is in tight ball 4, and Sparkman walks in a run. So Adrianza picks up the RBI. Braves by 3. Now, Adrianza, that first year was having a good camp, and they're going to end the inning here as Sparkman's throwing 30 pitches. To finish up that thought, Danny Santana was out of options, and Adrianza got hurt. And Santana made the team, but then his rehab time was ending once Adrianza was healthy. Adrianza took Santana's spot and had a good run for the Twins. Rough goal for Sparkman. Braves add on, lead 8-5. Twins will bat bottom 8. Last chance down 3 on your home for Twins baseball. Braves 8, Twins 5. Twins scored all 5 of their runs in the 4th inning. A Jeffers sac fly, Garlick RBI single, Broxton RBI single, 2-run double on eyes. That's been it. And now A.J. Minter is on, left-hander, 23rd, or I should say 22 appearances last year. Touki Toussaint went 3 innings, no runs, a hit. And now Minter has the 8th inning. The Braves on top by 3. Twins will play in Port Charlotte against the Rays tomorrow. Randy Dobnak, Rich Hill. We will not have that broadcast for you. Hopefully Byron Buxton, by the way, is in the lineup tomorrow, as Byron's been out all week due to a dental procedure performed on Monday, but tracking to be in the lineup against Rich Hill for that game tomorrow. Nick Gordon leads off the 8th inning, former first-round pick. He's had really almost 2 lost seasons due to health. He had COVID. He's had just constant gastrointestinal problems that have kept him out. Still on the 40-man roster. And the pitch, he is in the outside corner, yet to make his debut. One ball, 1 strike count. Nick Gordon took over at second base earlier. As that one comes the inside corner, 88 from Minter, 1 and 2. We will have our next simulcast for you here on Sunday. Twins and the Red Sox, Kenta Maeda and Nathan Eovaldi on Sunday starting at noon Central Time. There's the 1-2 down and away. Kenta's looked great. Michael Pineda, Danny, today 2 2/3. Pitch count got high, but still, worked around some trouble. 2 runs, 5 hits. He struck out 6.
Yeah, he had some guys out there on the bases, and he kind of they ambushed everybody all day today. Swinging the bats early in counts.
2-2 pitch is fouled back. I should say, by the way, let me correct myself. It's my 5th error already of the spring. Sunday radio only. So no suit and tie, no makeup for us on Sunday.
Okay.
We can just kind of be
wear
casual.
A hat, short.
On Sunday, yep. So no TV, just radio only.
Perfect.
On the Treasure Island Baseball Network on Sunday. 8-5 Braves, 8th inning. 2-2, a swing and a foul tip hung on to by the catcher Langoliers. A fastball strikes out Gordon, 1 down. Let's step out, 10 seconds. Station identification from Fort Myers. This is Minnesota Twins baseball. Last year's first-round pick, Aaron Sabato, out of the University of North Carolina, first baseman, right-handed hitter. That's here the 8th inning with 1 out. As he takes high ball 1 with no minor league season. Sabato had nowhere to play after being drafted last summer. Was part of the group that came down here. Twins had 50 players for instructional league look. On a 5-week program. Sabato was a part of that. As he lines a bullet to third, and that is caught. A shoestring catch made by the third baseman, Kazmar. Boy, we'll check the exit velo on that because that was a rope. And Kazmar had him played perfectly back and really towards the hole more than he was near the line. And that took a base hit away and perhaps even a double. It was hit so hard, I don't think the left fielder would have been able to cut that ball off. So 2 down, last chance. And here's the catcher, David Banuelos, as he launches one to center field, deep but playable. Harris back and now in, charging, calling, catching, and that's the game. The Braves win it 8-5. Atlanta now 3-0 against the Twins here in the spring. Twins fall to 5-6. Braves are 6-5. Twins play in Port Charlotte against the Rays tomorrow. Back here Sunday against the Red Sox. 8-5 Atlanta. The final today. Danny, some final thoughts from you.
Well, just 7 hits for the Twins, and they got 5 of those in that 5-run fourth inning. So put some hits together there, but they need to kind of stretch it out a little bit. Again, strikeouts. It's a good Atlanta ball club here. You know, defending National League East title champions. So they're a good ball club, good offensive club at the same time. You're looking for the innings now. Thorpe, 1 inning again. Colomé continues to strike out a ton of guys. Rogers pitched out a little bit, and Duffy. Kind of a wake-up call for him, but still, it's all about the front end, and that was Pineda getting some of the at-bats. Rise looks like he's ready to go. Got to start at third base. Forgot to mention, Alex Kirilloff, not in the lineup today, was out early, though, today with Tony Diaz working on a lot of work at first base. So Kirilloff working some extra stuff over there at first base. Nice job. Thank Tony Diaz. And, of course, the best news of the day, Twin Cities Target Field's going to have some fans opening day.
Yeah, be sure to check out twinsbaseball.com. All the latest information when tickets go on sale, how that's going to work. Dave St. Peter joined us earlier, said priority will be given to season ticket holders first, but then follow instructions as soon as we get through that. So exciting news today, and the home opener coming up April 8th. Opening day, by the way, in Milwaukee, only 20 days away. So it's getting closer and closer as we wrap up this one. Braves 8, Twins 5. Danny, enjoy your day tomorrow. I will see you on Sunday.
You got it.
8-5 the final. Back with the totals and summaries next on your home for Twins Baseball.